I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Hello, my darlings. Another good evening, another show in, oh God, two in a week. What am I, working overtime? Slave driving here? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is not going to be really a long one. I think this will be maybe I don't know, hopefully about half an hour if I can. You know me, my intros are like 10 minutes. I'm already 3.5 minutes into this show and I've barely even spoken. So, good evening, my darlings. Welcome one and all. Okay, what are we doing tonight, boys and girls? For those of you who are uninitiated, this is those who come from Half as Reflex. If you are coming from Half as Reflex, this is my original channel. Due to the tubes sticking it to the, in me rather hard and fast, no Vaseline. Beware, missus. I have created a Half as Reflex, but occasionally I do produce on the Banksy style channel as well. Now, depending on how this particular show goes and how much I use the C word, which is see you next Tuesday, I may put this on Rumble. I may put it on Rumble anyway. I think I probably will, but I may take it off YouTube, depending on how clean I can keep it. And you know me, I can't keep it clean. I really can't. I sometimes just have to go cojones deep, as some would say. Probably have a Spanish translator out there in order to make sure that even the word cojones is censored on YouTube. Who knows? But anyway, I thought I'd keep it fairly basic, fairly sort of, run-of-the-mill stuff, nothing too flamboyant. It's just something I've been thinking about, whether, certain debates, whether it's worth getting into debates or not. The other day I saw Jupiter being effectively being caught in a trap, or being guided into a debate trap, and her words used against her, mostly straw man arguments. But nevertheless, I thought about that, and then I thought, yeah, it might be worth for those who run these YouTube streets, for us to kind of go over some of the debate traps and debate tactics that people use. And there certainly are lots of tactics, debate tactics, that a lot of people use in order to avoid answering on questions that will show their particular side in a bad light. They're not. Everyone you debate with isn't necessarily truthful. Don't go into a conversation or a debate thinking that the other side is going to be honest with their position. Most of the time they're not. They're not going to be honest. They're going to be deceptive. They're going to use underhanded tactics in order to bolster their position, and obviously destroy or try to reduce the credibility of your position, be it by reducing the credibility of you as a person, or the credibility of the things that you're saying and the facts that you're presenting. And so they are not necessarily honest, what they call honest actors. They're bad actors. They are bad actors, and they wish to just simply get their, it's usually the telltale sign of these is the point scoring type of debater, the one who wants to get the elbow from the top rope, the one who is the WWE debater. Now, ironically, in Speaker's Corner, which I frequent, and I'm sure you guys from my audience see a lot of Speaker's Corner stuff, that is the classic debate of Speaker's Corner. It's not really an actual debate of intellectuals sharing and coming to an understanding of the other's perspective. It is, I'm going to destroy this person from the top rope, brother. I'm coming down and I'm gonna bring the heavens with me, and all that nonsense. So it's WWE. It's what we call WWE. It's like the way the wrestlers do in their commentaries pre-fights and stuff like that, to hype things up and also to score points. It's a point scoring game. It's not an honest conversation between two people who want to understand each other's perspective. And that also happens online, on YouTube, especially those who stem from the Speaker's Corner perspective. So they come from Speaker's Corner attitude of WWE and just simply do the same thing online. And they are dishonest individuals. Most of them are dishonest. When I call out certain people for being liars, they actually are liars. Maybe they don't think of themselves as liars. Maybe they even themselves don't realize that they're using dishonest tactics. It's not about just simply saying, snow is black, if snow is white, or the sun won't rise tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying when I say liars. I'm saying that they themselves will use dishonest tactics, even though they may not even know that they're doing it themselves. They're using straw man and red herrings and whataboutism and ad hominem. My God, there's so much ad hominem. By the way, I do the same. I'm not innocent of this. I am guilty of some of the things that I'm going to point out tonight in these tactics, dishonest tactics of debates. Now, the most popular stuff is the ones that are mostly, I think this video that I've found is going to cover the most obvious, the most popular fallacies in debate. Some of them won't present themselves in the way you think. Some of them are still fall into those categories, but you won't see it. Now, this is the trick. Some of them are obvious. Ad hominems are obvious. You're ugly. That's why you can't. Your opinion doesn't matter. You're too short. You're fat. You're a loser. That's why your opinion don't matter. Those are the obvious ones. Ad hominems, anyone can see them coming. But the ones that are much more underhanded, much more conniving, much more deceitful are things like whataboutisms, things like red herrings and straw man. Straw man is so common, where a good example, and I'll show you some. I don't have an actual example of the person doing this because I didn't have time to do it. I didn't really do a lot of prep for this video. I should have done more prep. I should have really done it as a pre-recorded video, because then you can actually prep. But off the cuff, this individual uses the straw man all the time in their debates. He creates he gives you an analogy of something supposedly equivalent to the thing you're saying. So you're saying, I don't know, apples are red. And he says, well, no, not all apples are red. Like, yeah, okay, not all apples are red, but the apple the other day I saw was red. And he's like, yeah, but did you look at all the apples that you saw that day? You only saw this one basket of apples. You could have seen a lot of apples, and then, you know, you'd realize the apples are not red. So, you know what I mean? And then they'll just take you off another direction. And then they'll go, well, you know, what about if you went to a market and there were just bananas? Are all bananas just yellow? Can't some bananas be green? And then all of a sudden you're off in another direction. And then they'll create a straw man whilst they take you off a red herring. That is a red herring, where they create an analogy to take you elsewhere. And then in that red herring, they'll throw in a straw man, and then they will destroy the straw man and then say, you lost the argument. That's like, this person does it constantly. So anytime someone tries to give you an analogy, first of all, analyze, is that analogy equivalent to what you're actually saying? Is it analogous to what you're actually saying? Does it actually meet the standards? And it is actually apples and apples, not baseballs and bananas. You know what I mean? Is it actually worthy of considering it as an analogy to what you're saying? And second of all, is it a red herring? Is it taking you off somewhere other place? And then, are they using a straw man? They've created a facsimile of what you're saying, and they're now attacking that facsimile. They're not attacking your argument, they're attacking the straw man. And then when they win, they'll cheer in victory, and you're like, yeah, but that's not what I said. That's so common, especially with some of the people that I'm going to mention here. And these individuals are just examples that I found. Obviously, there's so many more. Just watch Speaker's Corner. Any given day, any given Sunday, watch any long-form Speaker's Corner videos of people usually live streaming it throughout the day, and you'll come across, slowly you'll get to understand it. So let's start going through some of these videos of the actual fallacies themselves, and then I will try to find examples if I can. But to be honest with you, I didn't do prep. So I only really have two sort of examples of individuals who use these tactics. But unfortunately, I can't say in these exact videos that they're actually using those tactics, because I say I didn't do any prep. I literally thought of this stream half an hour ago. So I don't have, I should have, spent like a few days prepping this. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make this into a still video in which I can maybe cut the other clips in of these individuals and other individuals using those examples. But hopefully the video that I'm going to show you will give you a good enough intro into debate fallacies that then you'll spot it yourself when you come across it, when someone is using it on you. Another example off the top of my head, again, I have to what's it called? I have to find some of his videos. But Mohammed Hijab, one of his tactics of debate is to be verbose, to just be overly complicating a simple example. Other people do it as well, but he is famous for it, where he will go on an hour conversation about something that would have taken 5 syllables to answer. It would take 3 words. He will answer something in a page when it would take you 4 lines to answer, or something you would answer in a paragraph. He would write a book about it. So he is exceedingly verbose, and he'll go off on tangents and talk for an hour, and then by the time he gets back to you having to question what he just said, or acknowledge or push back against what he says, half the time you forgot what the hell what the original question was, because he just went off on a hour rant. So be careful of verboseness, people who just go on and they're not answering your question, they're just going on. Second of all, and then say all the other fallacies we're going to go through now. So let's start the video with the fallacies. Now, I'm not sure if anyone is actually out in the wilderness. Aha! There comes, I just want to say good evening to the chat. We've got Trills, we've got Moonshine, Kermit, Test the claim. Salam alaikum, Aga. Zara, hello, sir. Hello, madam. Madam? Is it madam? I think it's madam. Yeah, no, it is. Zara, we established you were a pole, not a hole. You were a hole, not a pole, right? Yes, Zara is a hole, not a pole. By the way, anyone who wishes to identify their pronouns or their gender identity, you can identify yourself by either a hole or a pole in the chat. If you wish for me to address you as your gender identity, please identify yourself as either a hole or a pole. Those are the only two we accept, though. We don't accept anything else. So yeah, test the claim. Oh shit, Banksy's naming names. Mustafa, I is white in it, and 5T3. I'm not sure 5T3 is a hostile commenter or a friendly commenter. I'm not entirely sure. I still haven't quite landed on that one. But anyway, guys, I digressed. You see, that's another thing. I digressed. I went off on a tangent. Whole other thing, but of course this is a show and I have to somewhat acknowledge the chat as well. And GK, who was the first in the chat, big up GK. So yeah, let's get on it, shall we? Let's get on it like a pony. Let's see what this first fallacy is.
Ad hominem fallacy. The ad hominem fallacy happens when someone attempts to discredit someone's argument with personal attacks rather than the substance of the argument itself. Hasty generalization.
There you go, ad hominem. You're too fat. You can't have an opinion on this. Actually, quite a lot of time, believe it or not, women who debate men about abortion say, you're a man, you shouldn't have an opinion. That is actually an ad hominem attack. Because just because he's a man, that doesn't mean he shouldn't have an opinion on it. It's just pure ad hominem to shut them down. It's effectively shutting down the argument. Hazy generalization. This is another one which also comes into analogy forms where they generalize an entire population, and that's where the other side comes. Hashtag not all. So yeah, let's see a hasty generalization.
Hasty generalization, also known as the overgeneralization fallacy, happens when making a claim based on evidence that is just too small. Red herring fallacy. A red herring is something that misleads or distracts from a relevant or important question. It might
exactly. So that's that's one they use a lot. I hear it online. I hear it at Speaker's Corner, where they will take you off on a tangent and then they make several fallacies. They like stack several fallacies together. They will use a red herring, take you off on a tangent, and then create a straw man of your argument whilst in that red herring tangent, and then destroy the red herring, destroy the straw man and claim victory.
be used to change the subject. Tu quoque fallacy. Tu quoque is a technique that intends to discredit the opponent's argument by attacking the opponent's own personal behavior and actions as being inconsistent with their argument, therefore accusing hypocrisy instead of countering the actual argument.
Yeah, not only that, actually the behavior, there's a lot of, I believe Jordan M uses that a lot. Oh, why are you so emotional? Why are you so emotional? You're really emotional about this. It's actually, that would fit in the tu quote as well, where he's trying to attack your behavior or how you're saying, how you're delivering your message rather than the message itself. Again, another tactic. These are dishonest people. That's why I'm saying you should recognize dishonest people. When I say Jordan M is a dishonest liar, you'll see through these fallacies why he is a dishonest liar. And he actually is a liar. He may not think of himself as a liar, but he 100% is.
Slippery slope fallacy. In a hypocritical behavior that intends to discredit the opponent's argument by attacking the opponent's own personal behavior and actions as being inconsistent with their argument, therefore accusing hypocrisy instead of countering the actual argument. Slippery slope fallacy. In a slippery slope argument, a course of action is rejected because, with little or no evidence, one insists that it will lead to a chain reaction resulting in an undesirable end or ends. Okay, this is actually, Muslims use this all the time, where they talk about hijab, for example, or certain types of behavior, like drinking alcohol. Drinking alcohol isn't necessarily impermissible
in Islam. It actually doesn't, Quran never says don't drink alcohol. It actually says drink with moderation. Even gambling is the same thing. It actually uses gambling and alcohol in the same verse. But the Muslims translate that or interpret that as, well, it's better to prevent than to cure. So they will go down the slippery slope argument of, well, if you drink, it will lead to total chaos in your society. So it's better not to drink at all. So let's ban it rather than have it in moderation. That's their slippery slope fallacy, that if you start drinking a little bit, your whole society goes to crap. Although they don't seem to acknowledge that actually countries like Dubai and Saudi Arabia, who have had alcohol drinking in those societies for a very long time, still stayed relatively modern and Muslim. Same with Malaysia or Indonesia, who are predominantly Muslim countries who still have alcohol and it's not totally prohibited. Countries like Iran, where alcohol is absolutely prohibited, the drug abuse in those countries is through the roof. Young people are using drugs far more than they are in the West. So how did banning alcohol help any of that? Didn't really.
Special pleading fallacy. Special pleading happens when applying standards, principles, or rules to other people or circumstances, while making oneself or certain circumstances exempt from the same.
I don't know if you guys are able to read these things, but I'll try and
to other people or circumstances.
It says, don't you think lying is wrong? Yeah.
While making oneself or certain circumstances exempt from the same.
But your son lied. Okay, but he's a good kid. It's the same with Muslims when they're like, don't you think killing is wrong? Yeah, but your prophet ordered the murders of thousands of hundreds of people. I think thousands of people actually in the end. Oh yeah, but he was the prophet of God and he can't do anything wrong, and those people deserved it. They were traitors. They attacked the Muslims first. Isn't having sex with children wrong? Oh yeah, but your prophet married a 6-year-old and consummated at 9. Yeah, but that wasn't, she was already at puberty. So child abuse isn't wrong when Muhammad does it, because it wasn't. It was in marriage and God ordained it. Special pleading.
Critical criteria without providing adequate justification. Loaded question. A loaded question is a question that already contains an assumption. False dilemma.
Okay, something about the loaded question thing, which is another very often used tactics by especially the couple of individuals that I mentioned. They pretend that they're asking you questions, but they're actually asking you A, loaded questions, or B, rhetorical questions. Questions that they already have answers to, but they'll put it in a form of a question for some, usually it's for the reason of trying to get you to give the wrong answer, and then they go, you're an idiot, this is the right answer. That's usually the case, but if you even give the right answer, they will still, if it's not exactly their particular answer, they'll still use it to somehow diminish your status within the debate sphere in order to make you look like an idiot, a fool, a person who shouldn't be listened to because you didn't answer the question in the way they have prescribed the answer to be. It's as I say, it's loaded questions and also rhetorical ones. The rhetorical ones are even worse. That's why half the time I just stop answering them. Just get on with it. Get to your point.
Fallacy. The false dilemma fallacy, also called the black and white fallacy, occurs when someone misrepresents an issue by offering only 2 options when more exist, or by presenting the options as mutually exclusive when they are not.
Exactly. Most people, most of the time when they, you pick this one up is when they give you a yes and no. Oh, it's a yes and no answer. It's a yes and no question. It's a yes and no question. Should Muslims marry 9-year-olds? And I mean, the thing is, to be honest with you, that example is a yes or no. And from my perspective, it is a yes or no answer. Should Muslims marry 9-year-olds? Most definitely, for all time, no. But they'll ask other, they'll present you other questions and give you false choices, false dilemmas, exactly as this person puts it. I can't actually think of one at the moment. It's something, it's like, do you know that God exists, or do you believe that God exists? Or sorry, do you know that God doesn't exist? And the honest answer is always no, but then they'll use that to say, you see, you don't know everything.
Strawman fallacy. A strawman fallacy happens when one...
Okay, I'm going to rewind this one because this one is very tricky. They use it a lot, and you really want to get this one. You want to catch them at the point where they're doing this. And it's very, they're very, most of these individuals are very good at it. So they will hide it and dish it out very smoothly. And you find it very difficult to pick up on when they've created the straw man for you. I'll give you a good example. The one that they're currently using against me is might equal right. They create that might equal right, even though I've never stated might actually equals right, and then they go on to destroy the might equal right argument and say, victory, Banksy's an idiot, he thinks might equal right. Right. I've never stated that. They can go ahead and try and even find videos where I've actually said, does might equal right? No, I've never said it might equals right, but what I have said is that might allows you to enact your will. Whether it's right or wrong, might allows you to enact your will. But doesn't mean it equals right or wrong. You could, but you're the one able to carry out whatever action it is, no matter how good or bad it is. If you have the power, you can carry out the action. Whether someone punishes you for doing the wrong action or whether you get away with doing the bad action is irrelevant, really, because the point, what I'm trying to make, is that might allows you to enact your will. If you don't have might, you can't enact your will anyway, so it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. This is what Jordan Peterson says about might, about weak men who pretend that they're on the right side of things. If you're a weak man, you don't have the strength or the power of will to do the right thing anyway. So, because you're weak, only a strong man can actually choose between right and wrong, because they have the power to actually make that choice and enact upon their will. If you're not strong, then you can't be in the right or the wrong, because you can't do anything about it. The strong are the ones who have that, and the strong are the ones who should have the responsibility. Again, with great power comes great responsibility. It's the strong that can have that position of choice of doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing. And so strength gives you the ability to do the right or the wrong. It doesn't mean you're always right, but you are the only one that can carry out that action. You are the one who can impose your will because you have the strength. But if you don't have the strength, then you can say I'm doing the right thing all day long. Can't actually do anything about it. You can be a philosopher. In principle, you're in the right, but you can't enact it. You can't enforce it. So you're useless. You're pointless. Anyway, I'm going to rewind this, and let's listen to it all the way from top to bottom.
Strawman fallacy. A strawman fallacy happens when one rebuts an argument by misconstruing it. Circular reasoning.
Let me just go back.
The options as mutually exclusive when they are not. Strawman fallacy. A strawman fallacy happens when one rebuts an argument by misconstruing it. Circular reasoning. The circular reasoning fallacy is an argument that assumes the very thing it is trying to prove is true. Instead of offering evidence, it simply repeats the conclusion, rendering the argument logically incoherent. Appeal to authority fallacy.
Okay, let's rewind that one as well, because this one is common with religious people. They say the Bible, the Quran. The Quran is perfect. How do you know the Quran is perfect? Because the Quran said so. That's it. That's Muslim argument 101 for the Quran is perfect. The Quran is perfect because the Quran says so. Circular argument. And Christians, by the way, use the same thing. This is right because the Bible said it. The Bible said it, and I believe it, and thus it is correct. That's it. Let me
assumes the very circular reasoning. The circular reasoning fallacy is an argument that assumes the very thing it is trying to prove is true. Instead of offering evidence, it simply repeats the conclusion, rendering the argument logically incoherent. Appeal to authority fallacy. It is a form of argument
It says, did you know that the sky is red?
in which the mere fact that an influential figure...
Dr. Martin told it to me too. Muslims, again. Oh my God, do they use this all the time? A biologist confirms that the fetal description of the fetus in the Quran is exactly correct. Doctors have found that actually the sperm or the sperm liquid of the sperm is generated between your rib and your backbone. Actually, the scientific miracles of the Quran, if you ever heard that, that's exactly what they're doing. They're using this appeal to authority fallacy. Doctors and scientists said it so, and it's written in the Quran, so it must be true. The Quran must be true because doctors and scientists said it so.
Appeal to authority fallacy. It is a form of argument in which the mere fact that an influential figure holds a certain position is used as evidence that the position itself is correct. Appeal to nature fallacy. It's an argument in which it is proposed.
Daniel Hikikachu actually uses this argument, and Muslims use this argument to justify Muhammad's marriage to Aisha, because she was already in puberty, and puberty is the natural indicator in nature that a woman is ready to have children, and thus she's ready to get married and have sex. The natural appeal to nature fallacy. They use it a lot. My God, Muslims practically run this entire fallacy board. It's unbelievable.
Itself is correct. Appeal to nature fallacy. It's an argument in which it is proposed that a thing is good because it is natural or bad because it is unnatural. It's a fallacy because the unstated primary premise, what is natural is good, is typically irrelevant and an opinion instead of a fact. Composition fallacy. It arises when one infers that something is true of the whole from the fact that it is true of some part of the whole.
Let me go back to the last one, the natural as well. The red pill environment, if you listen to people like Fresh and Fit and a lot of these red pill sort of podcasters about dating and relationship, they use that natural fallacy as well. Well, women and men are naturally different. Men can have 1,000 women, but a woman, if she's had more than 2 men, she's spoilt and a whore and a harlot, and she should be cast out and tarred and feathered by society. You hear that quite regularly.
It arises when one infers that something is true of the whole from the fact that it is true of some part of the whole. Division fallacy. The division of the whole.
Let me go back to this one.
Composition fallacy.
The composition fallacy. You see, these are the more nuanced and hard to pick out fallacies. So when people use these type of arguments, X is part of the whole, so the whole must be the same as X. And they use the tire analogy, where tires are mostly made out of rubber, so cars must be mostly made out of rubber because tires are on cars. What?
It arises when one infers that something is true of the whole from the fact that it is true.
There you go. Must be made of rubber. You see, tires are made of rubber or mostly rubber, and so cars must be as well. And they use that in other cases. I'll be honest, off the top of my head, I can't think of another example of this, but they do that. They do it a lot.
Of some part of the whole. Division fallacy. The division fallacy occurs when one reasons that something that is true for a whole must also be true for all or some of its parts. Affirming the consequent. Affirming the consequent is the fallacy of taking a true conditional statement, such as, if the lamp were broken, then the room would be dark, under certain assumptions like it is nighttime and the windows are closed, and invalidly inferring its converse, the room is dark so the lamp must be broken. Anecdotal fallacy.
Yeah, I mean, some of these ones are, affirming the consequent. You can see how someone would use that in an argument, but I'll be honest with you, it is so hard to pick up on it. These are the ones that become much more, you have to be much more attuned to how the person is moving and what they're actually saying. So when someone says, like in this case, the room is dark, why would the room be dark? He's making already assumptions. He's already made 5 assumptions. It's dark, it's in a room, the curtains are drawn, there are no other lights except the light from the lamp. He's already made all those assumptions on your behalf without explaining it, and just says, well, if the lamp is broken, the room must be dark. It doesn't actually follow, but they make that. Again, I probably make these sort of things myself. I make a lot of arguments based on what I expect certain things to be assumed or understood by the person I'm speaking to. But in a lot of cases, they don't understand it, or it's not assumed. Sorry, I think I've special. Yeah, sorry, I went too far. Let me go forward a little bit. So, affirming the consequent.
Affirming the consequent is the fallacy of taking a true conditional statement, such as, if the lamp were broken, then the room would be dark, under certain assumptions like it is nighttime and the windows are closed, and invalidly inferring its converse, the room is dark so the lamp must be broken. Anecdotal fallacy. The anecdotal...
Oh, this is the one that James Jones uses all the time. He uses an anecdote in order to try to talk about the thing that you're talking about, and most often they are not equivalent and they are not good. And this is the fallacy that you have to watch out for when it comes to the G block. And yes, I'm calling out the G block. And that piece of shit, James Jones, he uses this constantly. And he used it with, again, myself. He uses it with Jupiter, with anyone he wants to debate with. He uses an analogy. Quickly, if you notice, he goes into an analogy. And then he uses that analogy, which is actually in itself a fallacy and a red herring, and then creates a straw man in which he destroys the straw man and declares victory. Because he's a cunt and an asshole. Fuck you, James.
Fallacy occurs when people use their limited personal experience to draw sweeping conclusions about a given topic. Appeal to emotion fallacy. It's a technique characterized...
Oh, hold on. Let's go back to the anecdotal fallacy. I want this to stick in a little bit. And again, guys, I may be laboring some of these things. It may seem fairly obvious and basic to you, but you got to realize the audience is a wide range of people. Some people may not get this just by what that guy is saying.
Validly inferring its converse, the room is dark, so the lamp must be broken. Anecdotal fallacy. The anecdotal fallacy...
There you go. My uncle didn't go to college, and he's a millionaire, so college is a waste of time. That is used constantly in the conservative and red pill environment right now. They're constantly saying that university is a waste of time. You're just going to get indoctrinated into socialism, and you're going to come out a woke fucking blue head feminist. Don't go to college anymore. And also, yeah, then they use their own positions of success. I didn't go to college. I'm a millionaire. Bill Gates didn't finish college. Neither did Steve Jobs. So I guess college is a waste of time, right?
Occurs when people use must be broken. Anecdotal fallacy. The anecdotal fallacy occurs when people use their limited personal experience to draw sweeping conclusions about a given topic. Appeal to emotion fallacy. It's a technique characterized by the manipulation of the other person's emotions in order to win an argument, especially in the absence of factual evidence.
This tactic, by the way, appeal to emotion, is used constant. And by the way, I myself, I'm guilty of it. I've used it as well, where when I talk about the October 7th issues, and anyone who talks about Palestine, this is their number one go-to. Look at the children. Don't you care about the children? We must think of the children. This is a constant. In Palestinian, pro-Palestinian circles, that is constantly used.
Appeal to emotion fallacy. It's a technique characterized by the manipulation of the other person's emotions in order to win an argument, especially in the absence of factual evidence. Burden of proof fallacy. The burden of proof lies with the one who makes a claim.
Sorry, let me go back.
Evidence. Burden of proof fallacy. The burden of proof lies with the one who makes a claim, not the one who denies it. The burden of proof fallacy happens when a person tries to remove their need to provide proof for many reasons. No true...
Let me, I mean, come on, you guys have seen this one, right? An atheist says, I don't believe that your God exists. You don't believe my God exists? Prove that my God doesn't exist. It's a classic. It's a classic theist fallacy that the theists use. You have to prove that your claim exists. When you say that pigs can fly, you have to prove that pigs can fly. I don't have to prove that pigs can fly. I just don't have to believe you. That's all. All I have to do is say, I don't believe you. When you tell me that Allah is real, you have to now prove to me Allah is real. It's called a positive statement. when you say I believe in X, that's a positive statement. I am simply making a neutral statement of I don't believe you. You have to now show me the thing that you're saying that is true. So if you think pigs can fly, bring me a flying pig.
True Scotsman fallacy. When a person tries to remove their need to provide proof for many reasons. No true Scotsman fallacy. It's an attempt to defend a generalization of a certain group by excluding any counterexamples for not being pure enough.
How many times have you guys heard, oh, they're not real Muslims. Oh, they're not real Christians. The Catholics say the Protestants are not real Christians. The Muslims say the Houthis, the ISIS group, the Boko Haram, the Al Qaeda, the Shiites, the Ahmadis, what else is there? Oh my God! All the different sects of Islam. None of them are real Muslims. None of them are real Muslims. But when you ask them how many Muslims are in the world, oh, over nearly 2 billion, over 2 billion. Really? Over 2 billion? And we just excluded like 100. And by the way, there's a guy who called Say10 or Sai10 who did a video, a cartoon video of that, which is perfect. It just describes the Muslims' nonsensical attitude towards how no one's a real Muslim, but there are still 2 million Muslims on this planet. 2 billion, sorry. There's still 2 billion Muslims, but no Shiites, no Ahmadis, no Salafis, no ISIS, no Al Qaeda, no Boko Haram, and the myriads of other terrorist organizations. None of them are real Muslims, but there's still 2 billion Muslims in the world. And by the way, the Christians do the same thing. Every time there's some Christian maniac, oh, Hitler isn't a Christian, even though all the Germans had God mint uns on their belt buckles in Germany, and he was never extradited from the Catholic Church, and he referenced God plenty of times in his speeches. The speeches are out there where he says God is with us, we're doing God's work. So, you know, whatever, man, whatever. No true Scotsman. Now you know.
Defend a generalization of a certain group by excluding any counterexamples for not being pure enough. Texas sharpshooter fallacy. The Texas sharpshooter fallacy takes its name from the metaphor of a gunman shooting and then drawing targets around the bullet hole clusters to make it look like he hit the target. It illustrates how people first figure out what their conclusion is and then go looking for data that supports it, ignoring differences and randomness.
This is actually, again, another Muslim trick where they already start with a premise. God does exist, and if you don't think God exists, you're just denying God. You're in denial of God. That's what it is. They don't say that atheists just don't believe in God. No, you know that God exists. You're just denying the existence of God. This is essentially that, where they already have a conclusion. God exists. Now, let's go and draw targets around the hole to prove our existence. So what they do is they go and find quacks and idiot professors and doctors and go, see, he confirmed the Quran. He confirmed the sperm comes from the backbone and the rib. He confirmed the embryology of the Quran. That's essentially it, because they already have they start from a conclusion. Okay. Let me rewind this one. Because actually, the Texas shooter fallacy, I never actually heard this one described in this way. I just saw what these idiots were doing, which was they already had a conclusion, and then they would find proof to affirm their conclusion.
Not being pure enough. Texas sharpshooter fallacy. The Texas sharpshooter fallacy takes its name from the metaphor of a gunman shooting and then drawing targets around the bullet hole clusters to make it look like he hit the target. It illustrates how people first figure out what their conclusion is and then go looking for data that supports it, ignoring differences and randomness. Suppressed correlative. The attempt to redefine one of two mutually exclusive options so that one alternative encompasses the other, thus making one alternative impossible. Something like, I need to know if we should stop for lunch or not. You are either hungry or not hungry, which is it? If being hungry means being able to eat, I am always hungry. Personal incredulity fallacy.
Let me go back to that one, because that is a very good one, but I've never really seen. I mean, I've seen the examples where they actually make the other one. I've never heard it actually expressed. Suppressed correlative. Oh, let me go back here. Let's see what he says.
Suppressed correlative.
Suppressed correlative. I have actually seen this done where the people do actually use this fallacy. I just never knew it was called a suppressed correlative. There's my vocabulary notched up a little inch. Suppressed.
The attempt to redefine one of two mutually exclusive options so that one alternative encompasses the other, thus making one alternative impossible. Something like, I need to know if we should stop for lunch or not. You are either hungry or not hungry, which is it? If being hungry means being able to eat, I am always hungry. Personal incredulity.
Ah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this one. Guys, if you can actually think of other examples of suppressed correlative, then please put it in the chat. But at the moment, I have to look up more examples of suppressed correlative.
Incredulity fallacy.
Oh, personal incredulity fallacy. Again, another favorite of Muslims. Well, I can't imagine the universe coming into existence without a God, so there must be a God, because I can't fathom any other scenario. That's my take. Let's see what this guy says.
Being hungry means being able to eat. I am always hungry. Personal incredulity fallacy. It's committed when the arguer presumes that whatever is true must be easy to understand or to imagine. Ambiguity fallacy. It happens when an unclear phrase with multiple definitions is used within the argument. Therefore, it does not support the conclusion. Genetic fallacy.
This might be another one that someone like James Jones and Hamza would use because ambiguity fallacy. All beetles have 6 legs.
Definitions is used within the argument.
John Lennon is a beetle. Ambiguity fallacy. All beetles have 6 legs. Yeah, but John Lennon is a beetle. He doesn't have 6 legs. Yeah, I got to look out for these because I'm sure a lot of these idiots use these tactics as well. Maybe they don't even realize it, but that must be that they use similar sort of things where they go, yeah, but this guy has it. And again, I myself have probably fallen foul of this, so I'm happy to even acknowledge the fact that I may not even know that this, that I've used this kind of fallacies. It's interesting to actually see if you can catch yourself. See, guys, if you're self-critical, you can actually reflect and say, have I made these mistakes? Have I, used one of these fallacies in your own arguments? And catch yourself if you ever do, and see, rather than being obsessed with winning and losing arguments. This is why I despise point keepers in debates. Those who are point scorers and point keepers, because they are not interested in a honest conversation between two people. They want to win. They want to have some kind of cathartic release or some kind of dopamine hit of winning an argument against another person. And point keepers are usually the most pathetic, low IQ individuals. So if you hear someone talking about winning and losing debates, which you'll see in Speaker's Corner and you'll see it on the majority of the Hamza sort of debate, the Muslim Dawa debate circles, and you will see it in other people. Anytime someone is keeping points, you be assured this is a low IQ, pathetic individual who doesn't think about things deeply.
For it does not support the conclusion. Genetic fallacy. The genetic fallacy is the act of rejecting or accepting an argument solely on the basis of its origin rather than its content. Middle ground.
Let me go back to this one.
Genetic fallacy.
Genetic fallacy.
The genetic fallacy is the act of rejecting or...
We should ban smoking in public.
Or accepting an argument solely on the basis of its...
No, the Nazis were first to ban public smoking.
Its origin rather than its content. Middle ground fallacy. It's the fallacy that the truth is always in the middle of two opposites.
Again, I've seen this one used as well, where they're not, oh, well, it's not this or that. Oh, it's got to be something in the middle. I probably have even used this myself. I've even fallen foul of this myself, the middle ground fallacy, that there must always be a middle ground between certain things, and quite often it's not.
Affirming a disjunct. The affirming a disjunct fallacy occurs when, given an either-or scenario, you wrongly assume that if one statement or outcome is true, the other one cannot be true.
Oh, interesting. Let me...
You think... Let
me go back.
You wrong-junct. The affirming a
affirming a disjunct. That is interesting. I've never even heard this one before. Affirming a disjunct, but I have to say I have seen this.
Disjunct fallacy occurs when
Max is a mammal.
Given an either or scenario, you
Max is a cat.
Wrongly assume that if one
or Max is a mammal or Max is a cat.
Statement or outcome is true.
Max is a mammal, therefore he's not a cat. Interesting. Yeah, no, it's true. I guess they give you a false idea of only one of these things can be true, whilst actually simultaneously both of them can be absolutely true. By the way, hello and welcome to Base Welshman, Mad Brody, Mad Brody, and Big Dave Green. Oh my God, it's Simon Sideways, Big Dave. That's Simon's thing. Dude, you crushed it on that stream. You got to do another one soon.
The other one cannot be true. Appeal to tradition. It happens when we ignore the evidence that we should change because we have been doing something for a long time.
Appeal to tradition. Yeah. Again, red pill environments, in the red pill zones, you see a lot of people use this. We should try this new antibiotic. Nah, we've always been using mint. Yeah, I've seen it again. Well, traditionally, men and women always did X, Y, Z. Well, we ain't living in that traditional life anymore. Traditionally, we never had friggin' devices on our hands which could show us the entire world and watch TV and watch movies. Traditionally, I couldn't walk around the streets watching a movie, but I can now. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, appeal to tradition doesn't always apply.
Sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy is our tendency to continue with something we've invested money, effort, or time into, even if the current costs outweigh the benefits. Appeal to ignorance.
Let me go over this one again one more time. Sunk cost fallacy. This book is bad, but I have to finish it because you paid for it. It's true, actually. It's actually in the pickup artistry, they called it investment. If you invest in something enough, then no matter how bad it is for you, you will go through with it. And this happens actually with a lot of people who get those calls from the Nigerian prince. If they ever fall for it and they pay a small amount of money, then you'll be assured that they'll keep paying more and more because they've invested now. And once they're invested, you got them hooked and they'll keep on paying, even though at some stage they'll start to realize, no, they're never going to get the millions of dollars that the prince has promised to put in their bank account, but they will keep on paying because they're stuck in this sunk cost fallacy where they think, well, now I've paid for it, I got to get to the end of it. Yeah, it happens. Like electric cars. There you go. It could be like renewable power, wind and solar. Especially countries like Germany who've invested a huge amount in those industries, and they've still not proven to be profitable or in any way really sufficient enough to produce their power needs. That's why they're going back to coal, because they can't get the gas from Russia anymore. So yeah, you could, governments make these mistakes just as much as individuals in debates and in other things. Sometimes I got caught in that as well with some of my debates where I'd already invested so much into one side that I couldn't pull myself out and actually go, no, wait a minute, this is wrong. At this point, this argument, this person is now doing something wrong at this level. They were right all the way up to here, but from here onwards, maybe I should reevaluate. But I was too much invested in them being right. I couldn't, if I'd pulled out, then somehow it would make it look like as if these people were always wrong. You know what I mean? That happens actually. If you invest too much, you stop yourself from reevaluating that. Okay, this person may not have always been. He might have been right at this stage. Like I would say a Tommy situation. Tommy was great back in 2010, all the way up to, I would say, 2015, 16, maybe even up to 18. But then at some point, he no longer was useful to the cause that he was espousing because he became too much of a poison chalice, and people should reevaluate whether he's still useful to the cause or whether he's now a detriment to the cause. I'm not saying that he is or he isn't. I'm just saying there should be a moment in which you should reevaluate. But some people are so invested in him that they won't bring themselves to a point of saying, wait a minute, maybe he is now the wrong person to approach about this cause or about this particular pursuit. I'm just saying, be careful when you invest too much in an individual or in anything, renewable energies, electric cars, or whatever it is, because sometimes it's just better to cut your losses. It's just like poker. Just know when to fold.
Money, effort, or time into, even if the current costs outweigh the benefits. Appeal to ignorance. It happens when someone asserts that a proposition is true because it has not yet been proven false, or that a proposition is false because it has not yet been proven true.
Again, I mean, Islam, religion, God, they constantly appeal to I'm sure this will come later on, God of the gaps, but that's what appeal to ignorance is, essentially, is we will take you all the way to the furthest points of your knowledge. Well, what happened before the Big Bang? There you go. You're appealing to ignorance at that point, because the correct answer and the honest answer is we don't know. But the minute you get to we don't know, you see, that's where God did it. God did that.
Continuum fallacy. It's the argument that two states or conditions cannot be considered distinct or do not exist at all, because between them there exists a continuum of states. Equivocation. Actually,
I don't know whether I'm right about this. I'm happy to have a debate about this one. The continuum fallacy. Sometimes is it what is considered as cold? As in, at what point are you in the cold, and at what point are you in the hot? And I think some of this might actually apply to the whole gender identity thing, where they talk about it as a spectrum. At what point are you a male and at what point are you a female? I don't know. Maybe that analogy isn't right. Maybe it doesn't apply. But I'm interested to debate that if anyone is out there that has thoughts like I do. The continuum fallacy.
Because between them there exists a continuum of states. Equivocation. The equivocation fallacy refers to the use of an ambiguous word or phrase in more than one sense within the same argument. Faulty analogy.
Hold on. Let me go back on that one because I was typing. I didn't pay.
Equivocation.
Equivocation.
The equivocation fallacy refers to the use of an ambiguous word or.
There you go. A bat is a mammal.
Phrase in more than one sense.
Baseball players are mammals, and because they use bats. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it done. I just can't think of a second example from this. But yeah, I've seen this done.
Sense within the same argument. Faulty analogy. A faulty analogy is saying that two things are alike in other ways just because they are alike in one way.
This is James Jones' bloody bread and butter. He literally uses this constantly. Constantly he uses faulty analogies because he uses an analogy in order to pretend as if he's doing something. He's saying what you're saying in just a different way, but actually this is what he's doing. Jupiter, if you ever see this or if you are watching this, this is what you were doing yesterday. He gave you a faulty analogy and then he took you down that friggin' highway, took you down the rabbit hole with this faulty analogy, and you just bought it and went with him. Never actually at one point went, hey, wait a minute, no, it doesn't. Actually, somewhere down the line, you eventually did say, no, this isn't the same thing. But he insisted it was, even though it wasn't. And he does it constantly. Watch out for this one.
Denying the antecedent.
Hold on.
These are alike in the same argument. Faulty analogy. A faulty analogy is saying that two things are alike in other ways just because they are alike in one way. Denying the antecedent. Denying the antecedent infers the inverse from an original statement. It's something like, if you are a ski instructor, then you have a job. You are not a ski instructor, therefore you have no job. False cause. A false cause fallacy occurs when someone incorrectly assumes that something causes something else without enough proof, usually using just a correlation as proof. Definist fallacy.
Okay, hold on. I got to go back on a couple of these because I think let me just get these. Defining the antecedent. Let's see.
Just because they are alike in one way. Denying the antecedent.
Denying the antecedent.
Denying the antecedent infers the inverse from an original statement. It's something like, if you are a ski instructor, then you have a job. You are not a ski instructor, therefore you have no job.
Yes. Again, I'm sure I've seen these ones as well. You see what I mean? Now we're getting into the nuance. Some of these are really difficult to spot, and you have to be on your game to be able to see if someone is doing this, because a lot of these so-called intellectuals will literally do these things to you during a debate, and you don't even realize it.
False cause. A false cause fallacy occurs when someone incorrectly assumes that something causes something else without enough proof.
Yeah. Correlation does not imply causation. Warm weather, more ice cream consumption.
Proof, usually using just a correlation as proof. Definite.
Yeah, you see, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's a
false cause. A false cause fallacy occurs when someone incorrectly assumes
correlation does not imply causation.
That something causes something else without enough proof. Usually
more ice cream consumed.
Using just a correlation as
more people swim in the ocean. Again, no, it doesn't. Neither one of those things can be true. Necessarily are true. Just because warm weather exists, it doesn't mean more people swim in the ocean or consume more ice cream. That those two things are not predicated on warm weather necessarily. Both could be false. Both could be true. One only could be true. It's not, as I say, it's a false cause. Just because it's warm, it doesn't always equate to people doing those two activities. And it's the same with the other, with religious arguments is exactly the same. When they tell you that X, the universe exists, and since we don't know how the universe came into being, and finite things can only be, they give you the false cause of finite things can only be caused by infinite things. Without evidence, they just tell you that. They just make that fucking statement and give no evidence that finite things must be caused by an infinite thing. No. Finite things could come out of a finite thing. This universe could have been created by another finite universe. That doesn't equate to your God in any way. You still have to prove your God, your infinite God. You still have to prove it. But they'll use the infinite regression fallacy to say, well, if this universe was created by another universe, then that universe was who created that universe. Eventually, someone has to be the first cause of everything, because you'll have an infinite regress and nothing will come into being. But that has nothing to do with their God, by the way. The first cause could be anything. Could be a frigging fart in the great multiverse. It means nothing. They still have to prove their God. It doesn't prove their God exists just because of infinite regress, or just because a finite thing has to have an infinite, just because they make the statement that a finite thing has to have an infinite thing to create it. Or even, in fact, this universe had to have a creator. None of these things mean anything. None of it equates to what they're claiming.
Proof. Definist fallacy. It happens when one defines a term in such a way that makes one's position much easier to defend. Ecological fallacy.
Actually, that's quite interesting. I got to check that one, because I think they do that as well. Before you argue about homicide, let's define it as population control. Yes. Yeah, actually, I see this a lot, where people make their own definitions of things in order to defend that definition, rather than, and quite often when you go in and look at the actual dictionary definition, it has nothing to do with the definition they made up. Good one, easy one, racism. When people, certain blackety blacks, certain, I'm black yo, I'm blackety than blacker than black yo. Those guys, when they tell you racism is power equals power plus privilege, that's just bollocks. That is not actually the definition of racism. That's the shit they made up. And sometimes they don't even say it that way, because they know that is now become popularly known as a fallacy. But they'll infer that regardless. That's why white people can't be racist. Only black and APOC or minority groups can be racist. even though Arabs in Saudi Arabia and in Dubai are incredibly racist, even though blacks in Africa are incredibly racist. So suddenly blacks can't be racist, Arabs can't be racist, Chinese people can't be racist, because they only measure them by the standard of power plus privilege, and Chinese people or Arabs or I don't know, Africans don't have power and privilege in America. Like, that fucking matters. They don't have power and privilege in America, but they're still racist in Africa or in Nigeria or in Saudi Arabia or in China. They can still be racist. They just can't have the power and privilege in the United States, but they have it in their own countries. But of course, they never debate that.
Defines a term in such a way that makes one's position much easier to defend. Ecological fallacy. Ecological fallacies assume what is true for a population is true for the individual members of that population. Etymological fallacy. Etymological fallacy is
another one that is used in the circles of religion. Etymological fallacy, where they say, I can't believe the teacher said my test was awful. Awful originally meant that it inspired. Ooh, what?
The fault.
Hold on. Let me go back.
Members of that population. Fallacies assume what is true for a population is true for the
ecological fallacy. I'm going to have to study this one a bit more as well. Neighborhood 1, 85% crime rate.
The individual member
lives in neighborhood 1, 85% chance he's a criminal. Well, maybe that argument could be made for the grooming gangs. Pakistani Muslims, 75% of the grooming gangs. You're a Pakistani Muslim, you must be part of a grooming gang. Be careful of that, people. That has been used. Now you see, I'm actually defending the fallacy, or I'm defending the fact that you shouldn't fall into the fallacy of thinking just because 75% of grooming gangs of that particular type happen to be Muslim Pakistanis, that doesn't mean every Muslim Pakistani you come across is in a grooming gang. This is essentially what this is saying. So just be careful. And I think most straight thinking people believe that is the case. But still, there's a lot of Pakistani Muslims who are in grooming gangs based on their population size.
Members of that population. Etymological fallacy. Etymological fallacy is the faulty argument that the true meaning of a word is its oldest or original meaning. Quoting out of context.
Actually, that one is what the Muslims use for Palestinians and Arabs. They say, well, when the Jews call us anti-Semites, we're Semites ourselves, even though we know that in common parlors, common speech and common parlors, that anti-Semitic means anti-Jew. That is what is understood. It doesn't mean anti-Arab, doesn't mean anti-Egyptian, it doesn't mean anti-Dubai or anti-Bahraini. No, it means anti-Jew. That's why the Muslims are trying to get this law of Islamophobia passed, because they know that anti-Semitism, they can't get away with that. Then nobody cares. Nobody is going to think about Arabs when they talk about anti-Semites. So this is, I think, that fallacy that we're talking about.
It's a fallacy.
Oh, actually,
the meaning of a word is its oldest or original meaning. Quoting out of context. It's a fallacy in which a passage from a quote is removed from its surrounding matter in such a way as to distort its intended meaning. Context may be omitted intentionally or accidentally. False equivalent.
The Muslims say that a lot. Read the verse before, read the verse after, because when it says kill all the Kafirs and the Christians and the Jews, it doesn't mean all of them. Yeah.
It's a fallacy in which an equivalence is drawn between two subjects based on flawed equivalence.
Oh, yeah,
It's a fallacy in which an equivalence is drawn between two subjects based on flawed or false reasoning.
This is another one that I see on these YouTube streets a lot. John bumped his knee, he got hurt. Fred got shot, he got hurt. Yes, they're not equivalent. So yeah, watch out for that one. That one gets used all the time on G Block, all the time. They, especially by that piece of shit, James Jones. That sack of dog crap constantly uses something like this because that's how he gets into his analogies. He uses false equivalents all the time.
Historian's fallacy. The historian's fallacy occurs when one assumes that decision makers in the past viewed events from the same perspective and had the same information as those subsequently analyzing the decision.
That is actually something a lot of people say when it comes to Muhammad and his marriage to said Aisha, where you are looking at Muhammad and morally judging him based on his time and the period that he lived in, which was acceptable apparently to have sex with 9-year-olds. But the point that I make is not that I care about Muhammad and his marriage to Aisha. What I care about is that Muslims claim that Muhammad is the greatest example for all mankind for all time. That is why in 2024 we have child marriages in in countries like Iran, Pakistan, and other Muslim nations. The reason we have child marriages is because of Muhammad. So no, I'm not saying that I judge Muhammad. I judge Muhammad on a lot of other levels, but I don't necessarily judge Muhammad on the basis of his behavior towards Aisha. I judge Muhammad based on what Muslims claim he is an example of. I judge Muslims for acting like or behaving like Muhammad is really what I am doing. Is my interest isn't in Muhammad. My interest is actually more in current day Muslims and their behavior. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something else, so I'm a little bit distracted. But yeah, actually, let's go back on this one a little bit. Let's just see what this was again.
Fallacy. The historian's fallacy.
Should I buy Coca-Cola's stock 1950?
Occurs when one assumes that decision makers in the past viewed events from the same perspective.
You're stupid for not having bought Coca-Cola stock in the 1950s. As if I had a time machine. Yes, yeah.
And had the same information as those subsequently analyzing the decision. Inflation of conflict. It's the error of exaggerating the amount of disagreement in a field in order to invalidate claims in that field.
Actually, let me go back on this one because I didn't get that one.
Subsequently analyzing the decision. Inflation of conflict. It's the error.
Inflation of conflict. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Earth is 4.6 billion years old.
Of exaggerating the amount of disagreement in a field in order to invalidate.
Okay, so we have no idea about the age of the Earth. This is what the religious use about evolution all the time. All the time. They use the fact that there is some argument about whether natural selection had a big part to play in evolution, pushing evolution forward, or was it genetic drift? And just because there is a slight disagreement or slight debate amongst evolutionary biologists about that, the Christians or the young Earth, the creationists, Muslims, Jews, Christians, whatever, they use that disagreement to say, even the scientists, even biologists don't agree on evolution. They still argue about whether evolution is true. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're arguing nuance point within the scope of the evolutionary theory. They're not arguing whether it's false or true. They know it's true. They're acting as if it's true. They go about their work and their research as if evolution is true and absolutely a fact, but they have nuanced debates whether it was the driving motor, if you like, the driving force behind it. Was it natural selection, or was it genetic drift and genetic sort of, I don't know. There was some other thing as well. Actually, I'm not 100% clear on it, but it's a nuanced argument within the sphere of evolutionary theory. Not they're disagreeing with its existence, or its the fact that it exists and it has happened to every living creature on this planet. Anyway,
claims in that field. Incomplete comparison. It's a misleading argument popular in advertising. Since the assertion is incomplete, it cannot be refuted. Ludic fallacy. It's a term used to describe how people mistake the kind of uncertainty found in games for the kind of uncertainty found in real life. For example, organized competitive fighting trains the athlete to focus on the game and, in order not to dissipate his concentration, to ignore the possibility of what is not specifically allowed by the rules. Moralistic fallacy, making statements about what is on the basis of claims about what ought to be in violation of fact.
Oh, this is 100% Mr. Jones, you sack of shit. This is what he uses all the time. The moralistic fallacy of, well, it's morally but whether it's actually true or not is an entirely different thing. Being mean is wrong. It's not in human nature. Fact not equal value.
Value distinction. Nirvana fallacy. Comparing a realistic solution with an idealized one and discounting or even dismissing the realistic solution as a result of comparing it to a perfect world or impossible standard.
Yeah, the communists use this crap all the time. The lots of people use it constantly, especially those sort of utopians. In fact, we get them in high levels of politics as well. There's a lot of people who use this, who fall foul of this fallacy. It's unbelievable, actually, how many people fall foul of this shit.
Proof by assertion. It's a fallacy in which a proposition is repeatedly restated, regardless of contradiction and refutation.
New Domino's cookies, stuffed with a whole Cadbury cream egg.
Must be joking me. How many adverts?
And refutation. The proposition can
go back a bit.
Perfect world or impossible standard. Proof by assertion. It's a fallacy in which a proposition is repeatedly restated, regardless.
Yes. Yeah, you must have come across this yourselves. I guarantee you've come across this. Proof by assertion. Sky is red. No, it's not. Why would you say that? Sky is red.
Regardless of contradiction and refutation, the proposition...
It's red. All right, bye.
Can sometimes be repeated until any challenges or opposition cease, letting the proponent assert it as fact.
Yes, this is what that piece of shit on Velis does. He literally keeps asserting something, then the person goes, okay, fuck off, I'm not talking to you anymore. Ah, you see, he's a coward. He left because he's a coward. He doesn't want to, I know I'm right. I knew I was right. That's why he left, because he's a coward and he won't debate me. Yes. Proof by assertion. That's literally what this piece of dog shit does.
Solely due to a lack of challengers. Cherry picking. It's the act of pointing to individual cases or data that seem to confirm a particular position while ignoring a significant portion of related and similar cases or data that may contradict that position. Psychologist's fallacy. It's a fallacy that occurs when an observer assumes that his or her subjective experience reflects the true nature of an event. Reification fallacy.
Actually, hold on.
It happens when experience reflects.
Let me go back to this one.
It's a fallacy that occurs.
Psychologist fallacy. Climbing Mount John is objectively easy. Try it. Of course, yeah, because he's strong.
When an observer assumes that his or her subjective experience
Yes. Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's not easier for him. It's just easier for you.
Reflects the true nature of an event. Reification fallacy. It happens when an abstract concept is treated as if it were a concrete, real event. Something like saying that evolution selects which traits are passed on to future generations, while evolution is not a conscious entity with will. Retrospective determinism. It's the thought that because something happened under some circumstances, it was therefore bound to happen due to those circumstances.
That's actually interesting. The last one was very interesting, and also this one. And yeah, that's what. By the way, anti-evolutionists always say. Well, how come a monkey doesn't become a man? Why don't monkeys become men anymore? Why we still have monkeys if men came from monkeys? Banksy and his laughter. Okay, retrospective determinism. When Julius Caesar declared himself dictator, he was bound to be assassinated. Really? Not really. Yeah.
Thought terminating cliche. It's a form of loaded language, often passing as folk wisdom, with the function of stopping an argument from proceeding further, ending the debate with a cliche rather than a point. Fallacy of stopping an cliche.
Let me go back to this.
It's a form of loaded language, often
we should use new tools. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yes.
Passing as folk wisdom with the function of stopping an argument from proceeding further, ending the debate with a cliché rather than a point. Fallacy of the single cause. It occurs when it is assumed that there is a single, simple cause of an outcome, when, in reality, it may have been caused by a number of small causes.
Isn't this your classic God argument? God must have done it because no one else could have done it because no one else. Big up Curb Your Enthusiasm. Big up Francis. Yeah, God must have done it because there couldn't possibly be any other causes. The universe could have only come into existence by God.
Appeal to the stone. It happens when a dismissal is made by stating or reiterating that the argument is absurd without providing further argumentation. Stating or
it says here, I just invented appeal to the stone. I just invented something that lets you see bacteria. That's impossible. That's it. That's the argument. That's just impossible. Really? Microscopes exist.
Reiterating that the argument is absurd without providing.
Because it's absurd. Why? Because it's absurd.
Further argumentation.
That's again. You can go right back to the old God thing. The universe couldn't have come into existence without a God, without a first cause. Why not? Because that's impossible.
Ignoratio elenchi. Ignoratio elenchi, also called missing the point, is the fallacy of presenting an argument that may or may not be logically valid and sound, but whose conclusion fails to address the issue in question.
Wow, let me ignoratio elenchi. I got to learn these.
Is absurd without providing further argumentation. Ignoratio elenchi.
Ignoratio elenchi.
Ignoratio.
Christ, these are like Latin shit now we're in.
Elenchi, also called missing the point, is the fallacy of
the president's policies on healthcare may be popular,
presenting an argument that may or
but he is secretly a spy and should probably be investigated.
May not be logically valid and sound, but whose conclusion fails to.
Okay, but his policies on healthcare is still popular, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I thought this would be. Well, I thought it would fall under like an ad hominem, but I guess it falls into ignoratio elenchi because even though he may be a spy and should be investigated, or Trump might be a racist, his policies are still popular. That doesn't change that. But that is literally what they're using against Trump. Oh, he's a criminal liar and a racist. But his policies are really popular and people really want that wall to be made. Yeah, but he's a racist. That's what they're using. They're using those same fucking fallacies. Didn't he play up front for AC Milan? Ignoratio elenchi. Yeah, he was left back.
Address the issue in question. Circumstantial ad hominem. Stating that the arguer's personal interest in advancing a conclusion means that their conclusion is wrong.
Hold on, let me go. Yes, circumstantial ad hominem. This tractor is the most reliable one. Yeah, right. You just want to sell it.
That the arguer's personal interest in advancing a conclusion means that their conclusion is wrong. Tone policing, an ad hominem.
Oh my God, don't the woke use this constantly? They constantly use that.
In advancing a conclusion means that their conclusion is wrong. Tone policing, an ad hominem fallacy that focuses on the emotion behind a message rather than the message itself as a discrediting tactic.
Sorry, let me go play this. It says, we need to help the homeless. Dude, calm down. You're going to pop a vein.
On the emotion behind.
Oh, come on. You know that this is the left. This is the modern wokists constantly online.
Is wrong. Tone policing, an ad hominem fallacy that focuses on the emotion behind a message rather than the message itself as a discrediting tactic. Association fallacy. It's the fallacy that asserts that properties of one thing must also be properties of another thing. If both
US citizens won 400 Nobel Prizes, the US must be smart. That's good.
It's the fallacy that asserts that properties of one thing must also be properties of another thing if both things belong to the same group. Appeal to accomplishment. It's kind of an appeal to authority fallacy. It happens when an assertion is deemed true or false based on the accomplishments of the proposer.
Yeah. I mean,
it happens.
There you go. Appeal to accomplishment. I have a PhD. What have you got? How dare you tell me that the sun doesn't set in a muddy puddle? I've read the Quran 1,000 times, and I'm a mullah. I'm an imam, and you're telling me that the sun doesn't set in a muddy puddle?
When an assertion is deemed true or false based on the accomplishments of the proposer. Courtier's reply. When a criticism is dismissed by claiming that the critic lacks sufficient knowledge, credentials, or training to credibly comment on the subject matter.
Let me go back on this Courtier's reply. That's interesting. Appeal to accomplishment. I actually want to... This is what Jordan M. also uses all the time. Have you read the Quran? What are the 5 pillars of the Quran? If you haven't read the Quran, I read the Quran. I know the 5 pillars. So obviously I'm correct and you're not.
Accomplishments of the proposer. Courtier's reply. When a criticism...
Yoga cures fevers. Courtier's reply.
Is dismissed by claiming that the critic lacks...
No, it doesn't.
Sufficient knowledge, credentials, or training to...
You can't say that. You're not a doctor. Yeah, this is literally what I just said. It's very
credibly comment on the subject matter. Appeal to consequences. It's an argument that concludes a hypothesis to be either true or false, based on whether the premise leads to desirable or undesirable consequences. Appeal to novelty.
Let me go back.
The premise leads to... It's an argument that
the stock market will go up this year.
Concludes a hypothesis to be either true or false.
A lot of people would lose money if it didn't.
Based on whether the premise leads to desirable or undesirable consequences. Appeal to novelty. It happens when a proposal is claimed to be superior or better solely because it is new or modern. Bulverism. It is the...
I have to say, a lot of people do use appeal to novelty as well, where they appeal to modern era as so much better than anyone else. And I've done it as well. And I still stick by the fact that we are living in the best time for mankind that has ever been historically, at least recorded history, when it comes to disease and just about on every metric in a Western setting. But of course, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good everywhere. But appeal to novelty is medicine's newest discovery. Actually, a lot of people, I think, use this appeal to novelty when it comes to their mobile phones. Like your mobile phone is on average, the battery life is good for at least 4 or 5 years. You don't really need a new mobile phone every year. But yet, most mobile phone companies release at least 2 phones a year, every year. You know?
Superior or better solely because it is new or modern. Bulverism. It is the assumption and assertion.
Oh, sorry. Let me go. Let me just, because I don't want to. Somebody's written in perspective. Is Banksy style and a banker in style, or someone who is a stylish banker? And his style of banking is different. In this country, we usually change the letter of B for a W. But I get it. Thank you.
Better solely because it is new or modern. Bulverism. It is the assumption and assertion that an argument is flawed or false because of the arguer's identity. Chronological snobbery. Chronological snobbery considers modern ideas superior to those from earlier ages just because they are modern. It's a form of appeal to novelty. I'm entitled to...
I think atheists use that a lot. I have to admit it. Atheists do use that a lot. We are so much better moral. We have so much higher moral standards than the biblical people. We are so much more sophisticated than the biblical people. We know so much more than the biblical people. Those idiots. I've literally heard atheists call people who wrote the Bible idiots. So yeah, I guess we do fall into those traps. All of us do.
My opinion fallacy. When a person discredits any opposition...
I'm entitled to my opinion. Oh my God. How many times have we fucking heard, I have my truth. This is my truth. That's why. No, there is no your truth. There is the truth, and then whatever shitty opinion you happen to have. There is no your truth, and there is no your facts, and there are no alternative facts. And yes, even those Trump fans who think that there are alternative facts, there are no fucking alternative facts. It's just facts.
by claiming that they are entitled to their opinion instead of logically analyzing said opposition. Two wrongs make a right. It's an argument in which an allegation of wrongdoing is countered with a similar allegation. Vacuous truth. A claim that is...
I have to admit, I have used that myself, especially with the Israeli-Palestine situation, where I said, well, the Muslims came and conquered and made everyone into Muslim and killed them. It's just Israel's turn now. So go suck it up. And it is true. It is the two rights, two wrongs don't make a right. And I'm not claiming that they make a right. I'm just saying, now it's just your fucking turn. I don't even say it's right. I'm just saying it's just your fucking turn.
Allegation of wrongdoing is countered with a similar allegation. Vacuous truth. A claim that is technically true but meaningless, such as claiming that no mobile phones in the room are on when there are no mobile phones in the room. Fallacy. It's...
Oh my God, this one, vacuous truth. I hear this all the time. And I think some people use that in order to gain themselves a position of I am right. So they say something that is right, and you have no choice but to agree with it. And then they make some other bullshit argument that is absolutely wrong, but they've kind of built, and this actually happens, what they call the truth ladder in sales, where they will the salesman will make several truthful statements in which you really have to agree with because they're absolutely true, they're obvious truths. And then once he has you on that yes ladder of saying yes agreement, then they'll throw in their bullshit and you end up agreeing with their bullshit even though it doesn't equate and it's not necessarily true. It's not true. Sometimes it's not even true at all, but you're on that yes ladder. So be careful when someone does these vacuous truth crap where they have no relation to what you're arguing or what you're debating. They just want you to get you on the yes ladder. They want to get you on the agreement ladder so that when they do make their actual point, you just agree along with it and then they go, victory! Just watch out for the cunts who always want to be victorious in their debates. That's, for me, is like the biggest red line, the red flag, is those who want to score points in a debate.
That no mobile phones in the room are on when there are no mobile phones in the room. Fallacy. It's saying that when an argument contains a fallacy, its conclusion must be false. If you like this format, check out this video, YouTube.
Fallacy. Where's the phallic? Yeah, so there it is, guys. Those are all the fallacies. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually should put this in the... I'll post it in the chat for those who want to go over this video again for themselves. Or, actually, oh no, I can't do it. I'm not an admin. Oh, damn it. On the wrong account. I can't post on my own chat. It is by the people called the Paint Explainer. The Paint Explainer. Every logical fallacy explained in 11 minutes, which I thought was brilliant. It was really, really fast and concise. And I mean, obviously, I labored it and extended it to an hour and a half, but that's because I am verbose. But you can go watch them yourselves. Fallacy with a PH. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you for that fallacy. Yeah. So yeah, guys, if actually curb your enthusiasm. Could you please post this into the chat, because I am not an admin in my own fucking chat. I am not an admin in my own stream. Ain't that a bitch? Okay, hold on. Maybe I can do it for myself. So know themselves. See if I can make myself an admin. Yes. So an admin. That's awesome. Now I can post the link. Right. Yep, there it is. Okay, boys and girls. You can actually go and watch this video for yourself, the entirety. I suggest you watch it several times. I'm going to watch this a few more times before I'm done. Or you could replay my entire stream for yourself and watch it and give me the views. Give me the views. So yeah, either way, yeah, I think these things should be looked upon. The people that I've been discussing this evening, for those of you uninitiated, are an individual here who calls himself Psycho Bunny, but is actually known as James Jones, who is a sack of shit. When it comes to these debates, he constantly uses these fallacies in order to trap people, in order to victory, I won the debate, like he's achieved something in life.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That so why? That's exactly what I said. You know, why the fuck did you use this analogy about all this, that, and the other if it's going to lead to more questions that you're not willing to answer?
There you go. That's actually very pointing out an analogy, even though I don't think he's actually talking about an analogy that James has made. I'm just happen to use that clip because James makes these analogy fallacies constantly in order to lead people down the garden path, if you will. But the person who I'm actually interested in, who is the biggest sack of shit debater in Speaker's Corner and beyond, is in fact, this gentleman known as Hamza, but actually his real name is Darren something. Oh, damn, what was it? Darren. What is his full name? It's Darren. Darren, where are you, Darren? He's a convert. He's a ginger convert to Islam, and his real name is Darren something. But, oh my God, the amount of bullshit fallacies that he comes out with. He literally breaks like 50% of those fallacies on this video that we just saw tonight on a regular basis, absolutely regular basis. He's just, he's shameless. And by the way, all the Dawa gang at Speaker's Corner do the same, but he is Darren Mayat. Anyway, Darren. His real name is Darren, but he calls himself Hamza because obviously since he's sucking on Muhammad's gonads, he has to give himself some kind of Arabic name because Arab supremacists insist upon it. But this is some of the comments that he's made in the past. I'm just going to just play them through, but you guys can go find his videos and actually no, save yourself the fucking pain and anguish. But yeah, you'll hear it when he debates all the time that he's just full of shit and he makes huge fallacy mistakes.
Don't go to the enemy and side with them and joining the mocking.
Oh, this is him talking about a Muslim woman who talked, or not even debated, had a conversation with apostate prophet. And this is how Muslims essentially train non or converted Muslims to sort of, the honesty of Islam. Let's put it that way. This is the honesty of Islam.
Are right or wrong.
Don't go to the enemy and side with them and joining the mocking of your Muslim brothers. Don't do that because your name will become mud. People who love you, they hate apostate prophet and David Wood more than they love you. Don't do it. Don't do that.
To my surprise, Hamza actually kind of implicitly acknowledges in this video that their response to my Kaaba argument was insufficient, not satisfactory.
So you said that the response to AP was very, very bad. Okay, now that may have got lost in the moment of the arena where I was just knocking AP about because I just don't like him.
There you go. You see, this is the mentality of the bullshit debater. I am knocking him about in the arena of me knocking him about because that's how their attitude is towards conversation. Is I'm here to destroy you. Elbow from the top rope. He suplexed them, brother. What was it? Oh, what was Hulk Hogan's famous line? You'll know the day when I bring these 12-inch pythons and wrap them around your asshole.
I wouldn't really describe it like that. It was just you guys were very angry and were not talking very well, and it looks pretty bad.
Talking for the bloody Bible! Leave the Bible alone! You don't believe in it! And thus I may have been a bit rough-handed with him, which he needed, really. But we are presenting a response to that argument in such detail it will ground the argument into dust.
I don't really care about who is right and who is wrong. I don't really care about the whole Kaaba argument at all.
Listen to the difference in position between apostate prophet and Hamza. Hamza is always it's an aggressive, attacking mindset of, we're just going to grind their arguments to dust and we needed to knock them about in the arena. Whilst apostate prophet is, I don't really care who's right or who's wrong. Is more about exchange of ideas, more about exchange of information and the back and forth in order for us as human beings to come to understanding of whatever subject matter that we're talking about. It's not about who goes away the victor. It's about changing, not changing, but giving someone a new perspective of some things that they never thought of before. I don't know if you guys, I mean, I talked about this before. I don't want to labor it, but I didn't really get a lot of response from people because most people don't even know this particular aspect of debate. There is a concept of debate called the 6 hats. The 6 hats of decision making by what's his name? By the 6 hats of decision making by a guy called was it the 6 hats of thinking? Edward de Bono. It's the 6 hats of thinking by Edward de Bono. I'm gonna try and get an image or something here so I can get over to you guys. This was a system devised about how to think. Now I know most Neanderthals here and there and around the world don't really know or care about this concept, but I'm gonna bring it to you fuckers whether you like it or not, because I think it's enlightening. This is the 6 hats of thinking, and each hat represents your position in that moment of the debate. So sometimes you are on the side of the debate, or you wear the hat which agrees with your position, and other times you wear the hat that disagrees with your position, and you have to fight against your own position. Essentially what they call is steel manning your position. Sometimes you can steel man your opponent's position. That's essentially looking at it from their perspective, and several other steps that you can take. So each hat represents a particular position that you'll take in that conversation or in that debate. So like the green hat is creativity, the blue hat is process, the white hat is facts. You represent just the facts. In the red hat, the white hat, that was the red hat, you present the feelings or how it makes you feel in the particular arguments. The black hat is cautions, and yellow hat is the benefits. So each time you take a hat, you take a position, and you then look at what you're doing and thinking about from that perspective. So it forces you to look at the argument or look at what you're doing from all perspectives. It's a great system. Hardly anyone uses it. No one uses it at Speaker's Corner. They probably don't even know what the fuck this is, because they have no idea how to think. They have no idea how to talk to each other as human beings in order to come to understanding of one another and one another's position, because that is not the interest. Their interest is these types of bollocks. This is why they say things like this. This is why Hamza says not moronic shit like this.
The Muslims are right or wrong.
Don't go to the enemy and side with them and joining the mocking of your Muslim.
Because it's the enemy. Because they are the enemy. We got Hulk Hogan. Leave my name out of your mouth, brother. Yes, thank you, Hulk. But yeah, you see, that's because that's how they see the people that they talk to. They are the enemy. They are not another human being expressing their mind and trying to show you a different perspective in life. That's not it. It's just they're the enemy and they need to be crushed from the top rope when I bring the Hulkamaniacs upon you. Oh my God. So that's what I mean. That's the problem with these types of debaters, or should I say master debaters, because these guys debate a lot and you can definitely say they are master debaters. Unlike the rest of us who are amateur debaters, these people are definitely master debaters. Oh my goodness. So anyway, that's basically my ideas and thoughts on why you should sometimes avoid debating certain people. Once you recognize a person of this characteristic and this sort of WWE point scoring debate tactics, then know that this person is a dishonest individual. He's a bad actor. He is not going to debate you honestly. He won't concede points. He will actually lie to you by either omission of information or out and out falsehoods in order to win the debate. They are not out to give you positive or a new perspective and information to bring you into a new perspective. They're out to win. They're out to defeat you. And as soon as you recognize this individual, walk away. Your best, and I mean, you can go ahead and carry on in an act of futility, if you will, or you can carry on with entertaining yourself if it's a sadomasochistic pleasure or whatever it is you get out of it. But know that this is not going to be a fruitful conversation which will lead you to some new profound ideas about the world or about a perspective in the world. This person is here to just win, and he will use whatever dirty tactics and a huge amount of those fallacies that we just went through to do that. And so that is why, for those of you who know why I don't talk to this individual anymore, I actually said to him that I will no longer engage with him. And then he used his mod admin powers on that particular panel to just kick me off the panel constantly or mute me and not allow me to talk. And then I recognized, well, this guy's he's a dickwad. He not only that I don't want to talk to him, but I would like to engage with other people, but he won't allow me to do that either. So why am I here? I'll be a sadomasochist if I just stay and just constantly have this individual virtually abuse me on a panel. So I no longer stay on the panels, even though he is now begging for me to come on those panels because Veli and many other people still want me there because I'm an opposition to a lot of their positions. Because these guys are all blackety black and free Palestine. They're all about that. I mean, Veli makes out that he's based, but he's not. He's a liberal. He's a lefty. He is actually a liberal blackety black lefty. But, you know, he has some ideas about the trans. So he makes out as if he's based, but he's not. He's as leftist as most of these other people, and so is James, and so is many of the others. These people are actually leftist; they're not conservative on any level. But most atheists are leftist, so it's not really unusual. This is where the power lies. Iron Sheikh. Holy crap! We have a whole WWE thing going on in the chat now. This thing's got way out of hand. What time is it? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It is actually coming up to 11:15. Normally, at this point, I'd like to start to wind down and wind my conversations down. So I'm not entirely sure I want to do a panel. Okay, I'll tell you what, guys. If I get more than 5 people who actually want to come on the panel, I will open a panel. But I'm not going to open a panel if I don't get at least 5 people. So if I get 5 yeses or ones, or just put half as reflex and then say yes, I want to come on the panel, then I'll do it. Did you say wine? No. Did I say wine? I might have said wine. I want to wind it down. I want to wind down. Wind down is what I want to do. Iran, number 1, USA. Achtov. Iran, number 1, USA. Achtov. Curb your enthusiasm. You must be irradiant. There's no way you can't be irradiant. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Are Christians like me allowed? Dude, I don't care. If you're a Christian, come on up. It's not a problem. But I mean, I need 5 people to say yes to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, I don't really want to just, because I don't want to be the center of debate. I want to actually step back and slowly calm my mind down, because it takes me a few hours to actually calm myself out of this mode of sort of streaming and just sort of relax myself, unless I take some paracetamols, and I don't want to take paracetamols, but I do have a headache. But I have to kind of, start winding down towards sleep, because you need a couple of hours, and I should be asleep by at least 12 a.m. So that's what I mean. You'll be the 5th. You're the 5th element, Triller. Is that what you're going to be? The 5th element? The 5th debater? Are you? But Triller, are you a master debater, or are you just a debater, Triller? Come on, Trills, tell me. I can only take you if you're a master debater. If you're just a regular debater, it may not be good enough. So are you, Triller? Are you a master debater? Can you debate me on a masterful level? Let me see if I get it. Oh God, I have to set all this shit up. Such a pain in the ass. Shit. Bullshit. Shit, I say. Okay. I'm just gonna do this one panel, I guess. I don't have to do others. It's too much work. I have to set it up, you see. See, unlike some of these other channels, I don't just run off StreamYard. Actually, I would run off StreamYard. I'm just too cheap to run off StreamYard. I can't be asked to pay StreamYard for something I do for free, and I make zero cash on. So I don't do it on StreamYard. I do it on OBS, and OBS is a bitch and requires a shitload setting up of things on. Okay, boys and girls. What do we have? We have enough people that actually want to come on? Is this just bullshit? Bullshit. My God, we have 22 people. Do we have 22 people? Is it 22? Not entirely sure. What I'm actually interested in is, did anyone actually, there we go, or like fifth of vodka. Jen Wallace in the house. Come on, guys. If 5 people jump on, I'll entertain you. If not 5 people jump on, I won't entertain anything less. At least 3. He held it down last night, though. Big up. Did he? Did he hold it down? What did he hold down? His vomit? His drinks? His did he hold down his liquor? The topic is, Jen Wallace, why James Jones is a sack of shit. No, that's not the topic. The topic is debate fallacies and why people use them and who you should give your time to debate and who you should not. Last man standing. Oh, I see. You just wore them out, basically, Triller. Is that what it was? You just stayed there long enough so that no one else could fucking just stay. You just wore them out, essentially, was your tactic. Not whether you're right or wrong, not whether you actually got any points. You just hung around until they just couldn't take it anymore. Okay, guys, I've posted the link. No one's jumping on. So clearly, you guys are done for the night. Although, Francis, no? Yes, he just wore them out. That's the tactic. You know, Jen, actually, you know, there's a lot of master debaters here, I noticed. There's a lot of, you know, debaters who have been around a while. Jesse Ventura now. We had Hulk Hogan, now we got Jesse Ventura. Holy shit, we're going to have the entire WWE roster up in here. I guess it will be WWF from that era, if you guys know the WWF era. The World Wrestling Federation. Aha! Francis. Let us see. Good evening. Oh my God, Mr. Francis. I know you. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, sir. Yes, you do. We have.
Oh my God, many times. Thank you so much for your prayers. Although I'm a heathen atheist and it's probably wasted on me, but but I thank you for at least giving the prayer. On my way to hell, I'll be thanking you. Like, thanks, Francis.
You're welcome. I enjoy praying for everyone. I don't believe in. I don't believe in those sort of people who are like, I can't pray for you because you're a heathen.
Well, I hope the big man upstairs, for your sake, pays some attention. Well, actually, for my sake, because I'm the one that's definitely going to hell.
Oh wow, wow!
You know, my policy is better to rule in hell than serve in heaven.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I pray for you. Amen. God bless you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone's in good health. And what were your thoughts on these debate fallacies and tactics?
Yeah, I actually loved it. I loved listening, especially to all this articulate sort of mannerism that you have. Like, you beautifully put everything in perspective. Even though the language is,
I know. I apologize.
It's still enjoyable. No, please. Do not apologize. Being you, you do you, brother.
Yeah, I find it hard to keep it PG. It's really difficult for me.
But I love how PG you are. Speaking of corner.
Well, the thing is, yeah, that because I don't really feel that is a place to fully express myself the way I feel. And if I felt, I mean, I do in some subjects. Sometimes the debates get heated, and I do still keep my language on the sort of track. But yeah, I have like a bipolar disorder, you could say. On the internet, I'm someone else. I have a personality split disorder where on the internet I'm much more expressive and certainly much more crude than I am in the real world. Because in the real world, you know, there is certain level of decorum and mannerisms and you know, Britishness, if you will, that I like to upkeep. Whilst online, it's weird. It's because I grew up debating online a lot. I mean, I've been on these chat type programs for like since 1995, 96. I'm not joking. I've been doing this a long time. And I've developed a personality type on the internet and the way I approach people, and my patience with some people are far less than in the real world. In the real world, I have this very clear defined cut between the real world and between what I call the toon world, which is the internet world. And you know how, like in cartoons, you can have an anvil fall on a rabbit's head, and the rabbit just gets squashed and then peels himself off the anvil. That's, to me, the internet. Yes. You can do that on the internet because it's the cartoon world, but in the real world, no. An anvil falls on your head. You're escorted to the funeral home. You don't peel your face off an anvil.
Beautifully put, brother. Beautifully put. Very like I love the whole analogy. Like, reminds me of the Looney Tunes.
Exactly.
Back in the days.
Exactly. Yes. That's what I mean. When I'm on the internet, it's the Looney Tunes. It is literally the Looney Tunes. If you know the amount of loonies that are actually on the internet, you would you'd know it's exactly the Looney Tunes. Whilst in the real world, well, you know, we still have human interactions in a different way. I find I can socialize differently in different environments. So that's why I get along with a lot of different people. Whilst I find a lot of my friends are not that flexible. I've actually had groups of friends where I've introduced groups of friends from different spheres of life, and they've hated each other. And I'm like, oh shit, this was a mistake. I shouldn't have introduced you guys. But yeah, and my friends are like, my like one group of friends, like, how can you be friends with someone like that? I'm like, yeah, but that's because I know that person from a different sphere of life, and we get on in that zone. You guys just clash. So yeah, this is a strange thing about me. I'm much more malleable to different personality types. Whilst on the internet, I think on the internet, I just don't have any F's to give on the internet. That's what it is. I always say this. What happened with the internet was that the internet allowed the average person to be the thing that was only in a personality type that was only reserved for the privileged few, which was the very rich, the eccentric very rich, and the very old. Because the very rich are too rich for them to give a F about anyone's opinions. So they give you their honest opinion all the time because they're just too rich and they don't give a damn. And the very old are also, they don't give a damn because they're about to die. They're not gonna stand on prim and proper sort of and social norms. They're just gonna like, I'm about to die. I may go to bed tonight and not even wake up tomorrow. So I'm gonna tell you exactly what kind of see you next Tuesday you are now, because I may not get a second chance.
I completely agree with a lot of your points, and especially coming to your point alongside too in regards to how to converse with people in debate, especially. Like for me, I'm very upholding with someone who speaks with manners and speaks with someone with respect, no matter even if I disagree with someone. Like whether it's a Christian, whether it's a Buddhist, whether it's a Zoroastrian, whether it's a Christian, Muslim, another Christian, a Jew. For me, it's with respect. To be honest with you, if when I see people like finger pointing or shouting at the people or having that very domineering sort of attitude people have at Speaker's Corner, if I see people like this, I would tend to walk away now, because now I've realized if someone doesn't have the decorum or the way or the mannerism that they're conversing with another human being, when you forget that sort of perspective, because there's two sides to coin, basically, isn't it? Like I can see that person as a Muslim, I can see that person as a religion or according to his race, or I can see that person as a human being to start off with.
Precisely.
So when I see that person as a human being to start off with, I think a lot of different attitude can be taken upon yourself and say, okay, I'm conversing with a human being here who is an actual real person. But unfortunately, at Speaker's Corner, the other person might forget that. And if I see that the other person is treating me like crap, I tend to immediately just walk away. I'm very much straightforward in that regard. I'm like, okay, I see that you're an aggressive human being. I see that you have no mannerisms, or you were never taught some sort of mannerism to how to converse with human beings. So let's just walk away, and I will keep my distance. This is how, if people come across this way, then you at least have given the person a reason that even though you might shout at the back, oh, you lose or stuff like that, but you still had more. You left with integrity. You left with dignity.
100%. No one is entitled to your time. Your time is
exactly
the most precious thing that we actually have. I mean, this is what happens, I think, as people get older and older, they realize the only thing that matters in this world is time. The only thing that matters, because it's the only commodity that once it's lost, you can never get it back. It is gone. So your time is actually the only precious thing in this world, and who you spend it with is incredibly important, and who you give your time to is incredibly important. So it is actually a gift that when someone gives you their time, when they spend that time with you, and you disrespect that gift, or you disrespect that honor, really, that person is giving you their time. I think as a person that is being disrespected, first of all, the person who is disrespecting, you should reevaluate, and you should have some self-assessment of your own self and your behavior. But the person who is being disrespected, for them to stay and continue being disrespected, that's just an act of sadomasochism, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
you're standing to be abused. Is that something you like?
Yeah.
So no,
but I'll put in something aside too. Like, sorry, I'm coming to a heathen's life. Oh my God, believe it or not, I'm gonna quote a Bible verse. Say, do not give what's holy to dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't give what's holy to dogs. So my time's holy. So there we go, Sir Banksy. I told you. See. So if I don't give holy to dogs, what am I not giving the holy to dogs? I'm not giving my time to dogs.
Precisely.
So I'm just trying to be very biblical here. I'm trying to push my Christian agenda on you, brother.
No, I understand. I mean, I use the expression "I throw pearls before swine" on a regular basis, and yeah, it is true that sometimes we do throw pearls before swine, where we are trying to give something that we feel is valuable. Not only your time, but the information and the knowledge that you've acquired over the years of your life. To certain people who are totally undeserving of it. They don't even know what I'm giving them, what you're providing them, because they are so blinded by their, I think, ego, and personal self-indulgence or self it's narcissistic. It's this narcissistic personality traits, which actually, unfortunately, a lot of these Dawa guys and a lot of people actually at Speaker's Corner who wish to have the cameras and the attention upon them have.
Absolutely, yes.
A lot of people
very
do.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I've got Triller here, which is another gentleman who does discuss. He's a master debater.
I just have discussions.
He is considered a master debater on many things.
I never debate. I just have discussions. But, and I'm only a narcissist when I have too many drinks. So
yeah, this is what we should discuss to begin with. An opening is, what Triller are we getting? Are we getting the inebriated Triller after 5 shots of vodka, or are we getting the Triller that has to go to work in the morning?
Yeah, the work in the morning Triller who's hungover from yesterday, and woke up this morning thinking, what the fuck?
Dude, it's Wednesday. It was Wednesday. You got drunk on a Wednesday night. How do you go to work in the morning? If I get drunk on a Wednesday night, I have to call in sick on a Thursday morning.
I had to drink one. So I went to Sainsbury's, right? They've got this pure ginger like juice, it's like a pretty decent sized bottle as well. Knocked it back, freaking threw in a paracetamol. I had my egg and bacon sandwich from the cafe, coffee.
Damn.
All that before I started, mate. I was like, shit. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it just seems it seems impossible for me now. I mean, back in the day, maybe when I was younger, I could go out. I mean, but yeah, I used to go and get mashed at. And go to uni for classes the next day. So that was a thing, but that was many years ago with a different person and a different anatomy. That human being cannot do this anymore.
I'm sorry to interject, but you guys have lived quite a haram lifestyle.
Most definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Everything haram. I've done lots of haram things. I've got so much to atone for.
Beautiful.
If I become a Catholic, I have to literally go into one of these confessionals for about a month and a half.
I'll tell you something I found out the other day, Banksy, which was like, I was like, oh, I'm bugging now. They're like, so I was chatting to this Sikhi person, right? And they were like, well, if you eat meat, right, then you're basically taking the karma of all that animal. And I'm like, fuck, I am fucking I'm going to be here for millions of fucking years, bruv. Like,
yeah, we're both screwed if that's the case. We are severely. I mean, well, the thing is, though, if you think about it, if we're talking about like the population of the planet and all the meat eaters, then pretty much like 80% of this planet is going to be screwed.
Yeah, that's it. But I figured that it was like same kind of thing where they're like, well, the only way to repent is, Guru Nanak is the way kind of thing, with Jesus is the way kind of thing, Allah's the way. Like, this is it though, isn't it? Like, I kind of like thought, oh, you know what though? Yeah, I mean, unless you become saint-like, more or less, and just try your best, and if you believe in a God, he'll recognize that, and he might forgive you.
I just want to point out to you, Triller. Now, it's not my place, obviously it's Francis's place, but you do know that a certain person came here to atone for your sins, and he died and gave his blood so that you may be saved through his blood.
Oh.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. There was a guy who came, he did something, and apparently if you follow him, it doesn't matter all the messed up things you've done. He'll forgive you, and the big guy upstairs will give you a cushy ride. I'm just putting it out there.
What Triller, what he's trying to say, Brother Banksy's trying to say here is that you've got a Christian here, that's me, and that's what I believe, basically. So he's just pointing that out for you, basically.
Well, I have the blood of Christ nearly every day, bro. So it's all good. I remember Christ in my own way. Yeah, and the Holy Spirit.
Now I feel out of place. Now I'm feeling like, oh, no, what have I done?
So have you ever? I mean, this almost seems like a joke. An atheist, a Christian, and a Sikh walking to a bar.
Yes.
It's a three person joke. But what I will say is that as an atheist, obviously I'm not gonna talk you into any of this, but if you do choose to believe in a guy who will forgive you for all your indiscretions in this world, then apparently JC is the man. He's the one to look up. Nanak, I don't know. I mean, Nanak and JC may work in tandem, or it's JC all the way. I don't know, but that's Francis. Francis for this.
I don't really believe in anything that is like saying that their way is the only way. But I get like that. I believe in something more like that's like, okay, it's you do this, yeah. Generally speaking, you don't need to like, proclaim this as your identity and so on and so forth, right? But you just try this lifestyle, and you just get better at it, and you basically just try and master it, the spiritual thing, the meditation part, and try and connect, if possible. And I feel like it is possible. I don't know. Have you ever tried meditating? Have you ever tried it?
I actually, I mean, I talked too much tonight, but I'll let Francis have a longer session on this. But I did very, very briefly, and I'll be honest, there's a thing they call monkey brain in meditation. I believe it's to do with that, where you can't stop thinking about things. Your mind starts to wander off, and the whole point is to calm the monkey brain, calm yourself to the point in which you can focus. Now, there is something I looked at called the heart of the rose, which is like you look at a focal point and you just concentrate on that thing. But my monkey brain, my TikTok brain is just out of whack, man. I can't. I've got like ADHD up the wazoo right now. I've got because on a daily basis I'm looking at 3 to 4 screens every day with different things going on each screen. So my brain is all over the place, and that's why I have a hard time sleeping as well, because it takes me such a long time to actually calm my brain.
Yeah, wind down. Yeah, no, I get that as well. And dude, I haven't meditated in ages, but thing is, I've tried it, and I've got that, that feeling that they talk about, right, out of it, like that kind of that bliss, that buzz. You know what I mean? You're talking about, like, it was a short, like, it took me about half an hour to an hour at times, right? But I still felt that. Do you know what I mean? And that was a lot of chanting, and just chanting. Do you know what I mean? To like, some rhythmic music,
maybe that. So I don't do any chanting.
Yeah, that does help, right? And other people meditate in their own way, but like that's the way that we're taught to do it, and it works for me. I just use one word. I use Waheguru.
Mr. Francis, would you say when you pray, like when you pray for Jesus, or do you? I don't know if you do pray does it put you in any kind of meditative state? You feel? Can you use any kind of prayer in the Christian sense to get yourself in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. When supposedly, if I'm bowing my head down, shutting my eyes, and just praying even loudly praying, in my own way, even at home or even outside, like I prayed for you in front of everyone, like bowing my head down, just keeping my eyes shut and just praying. It's just letting my heart pour out for the edification of God, but for the edification of the body of Christ, but also for you, for your well-being. You know what I mean? So that's when I pray. So my prayer is to include everyone, no matter who, because to me, I'm a firm believer in praying for everyone, no matter who they are or what they are, because you never know what is out there. I might be a Christian today. I might be praying for someone. I might need the prayer one day, because I might turn away or something. So I do have that meditational sort of factor when I bow my head down, when I speak, and I just it's like I'm going through, like when I shut my eyes, I'm going through this sea, and just floating on the sea constantly. It's just a nice feeling, and the thought that you are praying for someone, but you also have this vision in you. It's something very helpful. It's useful, because a lot of people have issues when it comes to praying, because some people are challenged, unfortunately, in these sort of things. They have demonic feeling on them. I don't know. I can understand it. People don't believe in demonic imagery, or they don't believe in that sort of like sadistic thoughts that can actually take over someone's mind or something.
True.
But some people pray open mind with open eyes, because they don't want to have the vision in their head. So two different perspectives, but to me, when I have those thoughts, I divert my attention, and I think that's a sort of an art you learn by just meditating on good things and realizing that you can take away yourself from weird things. You don't have to you don't have to surround yourself. Like if you don't like horror movies, you don't have to watch them, but some people just can't help themselves. So yeah, it's a very I don't see things as black and white. I see there's a lot of gray lining between everything. So that's how I like to see. This is why I prayed for you. It doesn't matter who you are. To me, you are made in the image of God. You know what I mean? So when I see that you, so that's why the respect is there for you. Doesn't matter who you are, what your belief is. This is the difference. But not many people will have that.
Yeah,
but I'm just telling you my opinion.
I can see that. I mean, you see, this is what I was pointing out to just literally earlier on in the show when I pointed Hamza's behavior and Hamza's mindset. It's like I was trying to just simply give a little snapshot of where this man's head is versus a person who cares about people. He sees the world as them and us, enemies and friends, and he doesn't seem to realize that it doesn't matter whether that person is a Christian, Muslim, a Jew. He is a human being, and we have far more in common on that level than on this religious sort of bandwagon that you're on. But I don't know, I just think that because I do appreciate certainly Eastern philosophies and Hindu Buddhism type of things, because for me, hold on, I've got someone in the back. I'm just gonna switch over because I'm always worried about porn bombers. Hello, Miss Wallace. How are you, madam?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not a spammer.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just wanted,
I was wondering, I'm like, is Banksy going to let me on? Because I did kick him off my streams a couple times in the past. So I was like, oh, shit. I may get kicked off at any chance, but
to be honest,
I'm sorry about that.
It doesn't really matter. No, the thing is, the reason I don't actually take objection to those sort of things is because I invoke certain emotions within people which forces them to do such things. So I accept my role in that. So I attacked you pretty badly some time back because of certain misimpressions that I had. All in
the past now.
Yeah, so. But I mean that's exactly it. I mean I made my peace with Wendy and Jupiter, and we've had our fights and wars over time. But to be honest with you, I don't sugarcoat the fact that I am an internet troll, and I do take the piss out of people, and I troll people, and I mess around with them. But then there are those moments amongst that where I actually want to have a serious conversation, or a conversation which has some fruit or some merit to it. So I do flip back and forth, and I know that Jupiter hates that because she thinks I'm the cause of all evil on the internet, or at least certainly my ilk, the troll ilk.
You're more chilled out and more like listening, and sort of like seem like you're more learning on your panel. Yeah. Compared to like when you're on other panels, then you're trolling hard. Like you're literally trying to win the debate. You're literally putting your point across. They're wrong, I'm right. That's one thing about you on other panels.
The thing is, there are again, just like Francis knows, when he meets me in the real world, I have a different behavior because I put myself in different sort of characteristics, if you will. I have a different personality type. When I'm on my own panel, I want to encourage people to come and talk. And that's why I said, Jen, you were like, you were worried if I would let you on. You never have to worry about that. I don't care who, Jordan M, Hamza, James Jones, Zubaydah. If Zubaydah showed up here, I'd still put her on the panel. Because I don't care. When it comes to my panel, I actually believe that an exchange of information. Now, if the information is toxic, if it's a conversation that is just purely swearing and toxic, it might be good for the drama for the folks watching, but it's not a fruitful conversation for me. So I probably wouldn't engage in that for very long. I might do it for a bit because I still like a troll, but I wouldn't engage in it long term because it's ultimately a toxic form of behavior and a toxic mindset, and so it wouldn't be fruitful for my if you like, in a long-term basis. But when it comes to allowing people to talk, I fundamentally believe that as human beings, if we stop talking, there is only one other recourse we always have, which is fighting. If we don't talk things out, especially human males, we will spiral into violence. It is conversation. No, but this is no. If you talk and talk long enough, you will come to some conclusion. You will come to some point of agreement, because we as human beings fundamentally have so much more in common with each other than we have differences. And so, this is why for me things like racism is ridiculous. It is the most stupid thing that we've come up to. I mean, I know it stems from our tribal past, but to dislike someone based on the most inert, uninteresting aspect of their personality, which is not of their personality, their skin tone. It is the most idiotic thing that you could possibly have. A person's most interesting thing is their brain. Now, don't get me wrong. I hate people because of what they say and what they think. There are lots of people. I'm not a freaking Buddhist. I don't love everyone. I despise certain people, but it's because of the things they said or the things they think, not what their skin, what skin they're wearing. That's stupid.
I dated a Buddhist, bro. Yeah, they're badass, bro. I'll tell you, man. They'll kick ass just as much as anybody else.
There is the Shaolin monks.
Yeah, we're not really taught to love everyone. I'd say that's more Christian, but we are not supposed to, I guess, die with hate for others. So as long as we let that go at the moment of death, then we might be okay. But yeah, there's not really there's treat everybody fairly, kind of send
they make
love
up their own rules as they go along, man. I'm telling you.
No, to find somewhere that says you're supposed to love everybody. No, you love Dharma and you oppose adharma, right? That's
no, I just say it generally kind of like you see good people in all these different communities, right? Religious communities and whatnot. But like when it comes down to again, people just do the same thing, whatever suits them. Like, if it fits their narrative in this time and situation, cool. Do you know what I mean? If not, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, we're just human at the end of the day, right? And nobody's the same.
Exactly.
And,
right. We're not monks. Like, there's different rules for monks, and there's different rules for gurus, and there's lay people like us. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
Who are flawed. So, but yeah, Hamza, oh, sorry, God.
Sorry, please.
Yeah, his when you said what are his debate goals, right? And that's what I was like, okay, let me hit the join button. I think people like that, their debate goals are to flip the chess table over and run away I won, and that's it, right?
Pretty much.
It's the stupidest kind of lowest form of interaction, and you can tell how unwilling he is to even listen to other people. He's not listening to other people.
Oh, no.
He's not debating out of some genuine want to hear their views. He wants to assert and his views and dominate.
Have you talked to him? Have you talked to him personally?
I will not go on that because I'll not go on that channel.
I went there once.
Those guys are scumbags. Yeah, I know how they treated you. They're scum.
Yeah, 100%. But I saw what they were about. They were literally about, again, you're wrong, they're right, and
exactly.
But I was being very subtle, right? As subtle as I could possibly be, and but yeah, I mean, end of the day, they kind of sank down a little bit. They toned it down, and they were like, look, at the end of the day, dude, yeah, there's only one truth, isn't it? I get fair enough. Obviously, isn't it? I agree. You believe in yours, I believe in mine. End of story. End of conversation.
Yeah. Which I think is fallacious. Somehow saying there's one truth when there's many views of the truth.
Well,
right? It's got to be a fallacy in there somewhere.
Well, actually,
the
part of the fallacies that I was looking at was one of them, that people think that there is lots of truths. That was one of the fallacies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That there.
I
No.
do have to.
Go ahead.
I do have to add something. Like, as you said earlier on, as for racism, I would love for you to actually explain this to every single Pakistani and Southeast, pretty much all the Southeast Asians,
Yes.
the Far East Asians, with their fair and lovely creams. I wish people would understand and have that concept of the fairer does not mean being angelic, but because unfortunately,
Yes, of course. Yeah, they have that Brahmins and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we see, and then
But that's not true, though.
Yeah. It's the saddest part. The saddest part also is when it comes to Muslims themselves, because there's a psychological. I was speaking to someone else earlier on in that regard too. When someone is so psychologically indoctrinated, they have the ultimate truth all their lives. But I don't see that case being for Hamza, because he's a convert.
Exactly.
But as for someone who has grown up knowing that they're the best of all people, everyone else is like nudges, like dirty, filthy. When you have that mentality, unfortunately, you will find people who have no regard for any other human being who they're talking to, because they're not looking at them as human beings to begin with, unless they convert to Islam.
Yeah.
And my third point would be, brother, that unfortunately I would have to excuse myself. I will try coming back if you're alive.
Sure, no problem. I mean, I said this was a very sort of off the cuff, kind of unplanned scenario anyway. But yeah, I would love to actually set up a scenario where we can actually have a long sort of conversation about all the religion, life, people, whatever topic that interests you. It was wonderful that you came up. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much again, guys. And from a Christian, God bless you all, heathens. I mean people. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you.
You too, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's funny, like, what was that about, the line in the sand between believer and non-believer? And then, okay, heathens, we'll see. But this is that Abrahamic mind. This is that Abrahamic programming, right? And you could find it across all three Abrahamic belief systems.
I'll be honest, Francis was joking there, but what I will say is,
no, I know.
When it comes to this gentleman, I have not seen anyone with such a massive sort of urge for altruism than this gentleman. I've seen very few people. When Simon, I don't know if you guys know Simon. You know Simon, right? The one who the gay chap who comes on the panels and stuff. And when he dislocated his knee at the park, it was Francis and Hatun who literally were looking after him the entire time. The entire time.
That guy.
Sorry?
Oh wow. That guy goes Speaker's Corner. I didn't know that.
That's what I mean. That gentleman goes to Speaker's Corner. It was him and Hatun and one other gentleman, like a Muslim guy, an older Muslim guy, who were the three that were with him the whole time. And Francis and Hatun were the ones first there, and all the way till he was on the gurney to go to the hospital. So, and I was like, people who know him, like me and other people, admittedly, once these guys were around him, I didn't want to get in there because, they say, too many chefs, not enough Indians, and all that stuff. So I just left them and I was close by, but I didn't rush in as quickly as they did. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't react in as quickly as they did. They were there, boom, straight away. And the sense of altruism that this gentleman has is huge. I've very rarely seen that.
What is? I'm a bit unfamiliar with the word. What is altruism?
Altruism, caring for others, having a deep, profound sort of
like
sense
compassion.
Of compassion, and looking out for other people. It's just, I mean, I know a lot of Christians do, and a lot of Christians pretend that they do, and same with Buddhists and other religions. But very few people I've seen act upon that. You know what I mean? When you and yours is in danger, that's when you know who really gives a damn about other people and who doesn't. All these idiots online who claim that they care about the trans and the none of them actually give a crap. They're all looking out for their own pockets. It's all in self-interest.
I agree. I mean, I feel like some people naturally have it in them. Probably because of maybe the upbringing. I feel like upbringing probably has a massive part to play in it. You know, maybe it's innate in some people. I don't know, but yeah, definitely some people definitely don't have it. I can understand that as well.
Oh yeah, a lot of people
Like,
pretend, but there's very few people I've come across in my life that actually care about other people, regardless of their own well-being. But you know, you see it in situations like firefighters. I think they have, although it's part of their job, but I think they have a very high level of altruism, because no one runs into a burning building if it's not for their own women, you know.
I thought they got that job because they're chilling most of the day. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but when the call comes, that's some tough decisions you have to make.
I've worked
well, it's like a 50-50 chance you come out of that call with your life, right? And that's the thing, you know, even you could say like cops, EMTs, service people, all those people, they have a level of, you know, you could pick a better paying job, right? Yes, healthcare professionals, 100%. But yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
This is my...
I was gonna say, Banksy, sorry, bro. Yeah, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but like, I find it amazing coincidence. Yeah, firstly, that I was like from a Sikhi family, and you know, I believe in Sikhi, and literally, it's all about being kind of selfless and you know, helping others and whatnot, right? At the same time, I've always kind of been like that, because I only discovered Sikhi kind of like later on in life when I was like 16. But I always found that I was always that guy, always, you know what I mean, putting myself on the front line if and when, you know what I mean, like literally last person to, you know what I mean, like start a fight, but the first person to jump into one to protect, you know what I mean, whoever needs protecting.
I'm with you.
So it's one of those things, but like, yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Carry on, Banksy. What you were gonna say?
Yeah, no, I mean, when it comes to like my thoughts on like doctors and nurses, what we were mentioning just earlier, this is where I think our societies are very backwards and very upside down. We reward TV actors and movie stars and idiots on the internet as influencers. We reward them with millions and millions of, you know, pounds of money. These people are all multimillionaires, most of them. And yet, if you are in trouble, if your mother or your father gets cancer, God forbid, or you break a leg or your kid breaks a leg, you're not running to an actor. You're not running to an influencer on the internet. You're not running to a boxer or a footballer. No, you're running to a doctor or a nurse. And yet, we reward them in comparison to how we reward these other people, a fraction of what they deserve and what they do for us on a daily basis. It's unbelievable how incredibly stupid we are that we don't reward these. Teachers, firemen, policemen. These people are literally protecting you while you sleep.
You don't know. I rate these lot. Like when I used to work in the healthcare profession, right? And literally seeing nurses 12 hours on their feet, dude. Yeah, not even getting their breaks, dude. At times, working overtime, working days where they were off, right? Because they were short of staff. It's mad. And carers, my God, I could never do that. Being a carer,
but comparatively, we give them nothing. We reward them nothing. What they actually
£10.50 to be a carer in this
Some
country.
of them just start at minimum wage. Like I have a degree in sterile processing. So sterile processing technician. So basically sterilizing hospital equipment. Blah 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 blah. I never went to go work there because I make more as a florist than I would starting off.
You see what I mean? It's insane. It's utterly insane.
It's just stupid. It is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure florists are wonderful and it's useful to have flowers. But, you know, a person who will sterilize the equipment that's going to cut into me and do a heart operation, I think it's more important.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Call me crazy. I'm just saying.
No, you're not. That's why I haven't gone to pursue the license. I'm like, fuck it. What for? Like,
you want that person to be happy in life, not have any problems at home or fucking coming to work stressed or nothing if he's going to be operating on your blood clot heart. You get me? Like, come on.
I mean, you know, the lodger says, obviously I don't run a business. I haven't run a business in about 30 years, but the fact is that, yes, I know that those business, you know, in business, you know, you give people what they want. You give them the thing, you know, most people pay for certain things based on but I think a lot of it, especially when it comes to certain industries and the entertainment industry, I think that they've jacked up their importance to us, and they've given themselves an unearned level of importance in society, and I think they've manipulated us to think that they're more important than they are.
Sorry, mate. I just want to interrupt you for a sec. Like, Lodger, my bad, bro. The other day, yeah, I was definitely drunk the other night, and I don't know who you are. I think, but yeah, I had a fucking go at you. So my bad for that. But you know what, like when I have to.
Who?
The Lodger. Yeah, he just jumped on
fights in with the Lodger.
What's his name? Life. That Brentford guy. Whatever his name is.
Who?
Yeah, jumped on his channel.
No idea.
Who's that? Is that guy? The Life Hut. His channel. I forget his name.
I don't know. All this new group of like YouTube weirdos, I just can't fuck with them. Like I can't. I really don't have the patience to like put my time and you know, like that's why I said I'd rather come up like Banksy was having a nice discussion, you know, and like as much as I love G Block, to sit there and listen to this weirdos that I don't know, this cast, all these like. Nitties yelling at each other when it's like, man, I came for the topic. Like this topic's been popping, you know, like for days, but I got to listen to these YouTube weirdos yell at each other. Like I got no time for that anymore. Like that's why it's like, you won't see me around no more. Like people complaining about your Illuminati. Why go back there? Why you go back there?
Exactly.
People love it. Like they love getting abused. I have been back there since he banned me in chat. What, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's been.
Like I'm good.
Yeah, it's got to be. I think all of 2023 and all of 2022. Yeah, I think it was sometime in 22 where he didn't ban me, but he kicked me off the panel and because I was having a go at one of the women on the panel that he wants to simp for. The Jedi. He kicked me off and he's like, if you don't come here, it's a blessing to come on this panel. I'm like, no, it's not a blessing to come on your panel, mate. I can't believe it. He says it's a blessing to be allowed on his panel.
After me and Raj had beef, which was how many years ago, and even me and Raj were like, okay, he tried to set up some beef with me and Jupiter, and I never went back on the panel since. And then I would be popping the chat every once in a while, okay, blah, 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 talk a little shit and then leave. And then one day he's told Khan to ban me from the chat and said, no more Jen Wallace, she's dead to me. And I'm like, okay,
so
like,
dramatic, so dramatic.
Okay, like big bad freedom of speech promoter here, right? And so, and it's like, why would anyone go? The people love going back for the abuse. They love going back to get embarrassed, to get smacked up, and it's like, why? I don't understand It's like Stockholm syndrome or something. No, you got one time.
I just said it. I said earlier on, if you keep going back to a place where they will abuse you, you are sadomasochistic at that point. That is just sadism.
No, I'll tell you what, people have said that about me, right? But the thing is, when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, it's not always like that. Like, generally speaking, in the beginning or early on, right, when the show starts, right, it is generally topics, right? And it just leads on to the drama and the bullshit later.
Yes.
So the thing is, right, then it becomes drinking because it's a lot more fun. Do you know what I mean? And I can just fucking, I'm just like not even listening. I've got very selective hearing, like when I have a fucking drink. So it's all right. like whatever. Bro.
Okay, let me just make an announcement. Sorry. Everyone in the chat, it seems my connection dropped for a second or two, but it seems to be back now. I don't know actually whether, I don't know, maybe there's some effery going on with tubes or maybe something else, because I was also uploading a video at the same time onto another channel, and if that actually went through successfully. But one thing I want to say, Trilla, you're right in this sense, and Jen, I think it's something that you and I probably share in a very similar way. When Veli starts his stream, at the beginning, it does have the topic per se, but after 5 or 6 hours, it just devolves into something completely different because people have got sick of talking about that one thing at the top of the stream again. So that's the problem, because when you run a 7-hour, 10-hour stream, it's just impossible to keep that one topic. How much can you possibly talk about that one thing? That's
putting up with people's literally their bullshit, like, or you're just gonna go personal, like it's gonna happen, or they'll go at you and then you gotta go back at them. you know, again, saving face a lot of the times or whatever.
But at the same time, like, how long can you listen to people accuse each other of being nonsense, virtue signaling? You don't care about children. You're a racist. He said something racist. And that goes on for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's like
does.
either way, and I get it. That's fine. I get people, the drama brings the views. You got 175 people locked in to a bunch of nitties calling each other racist. Good for you, bro. Like, that's more views. I'll never get those kind of views, but you know, that's fine. You know, do your thing. I'm not hating on him or the channel. I love some G Block, but it's just, I don't know. My patience is very thin in 2024. Yeah. And
I think this
very
is
choosy on where I put my time.
Exactly. Sure. This is what I was saying in the top of the stream, actually, when I was talking to Francis. As you get older, you start to realize the precious commodity of time. And the only thing that really matters is time, because you don't get it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And wherever you wasted that time, you're never getting it back. You can utilize whatever you got left in front of you, but you're not going to recoup what you had behind you. There are no refunds when it comes to time.
I look at it like when it comes to dating as well. Like, I'm just popping them on my head because, you know, fucking, I'm just in the game again. Like, literally, I'd rather spend, you know, all my time with somebody of quality than fucking have a quantity of women. Do you know what I mean? And spending time with different women all the time. Like, honestly, like, so as soon as I find one that's good, I'm like, yeah, I want to invest in this one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so much more better. And again, a lot of other people would probably be like, nah, they would rather be with lots of different women. I'll be like, nah, it doesn't work for me. You know, it's a waste of my time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is what Izzy is saying. Izzy saying, I'm saving all mine in the bank. Is saving up interest in my time. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was like that, but unfortunately it isn't. Have you guys actually, this is something I want to tell to Francis as well. I forgot. Guys, I want to recommend this. I recommended it on my last stream if you saw it. There is a TV sort of mini-series that I saw called The Childhood's End. It was written by, it's a book by Arthur C. Clarke that was made into a mini TV series. It's 3 episodes. If you get a chance, unfortunately, I don't know if it's on Netflix or anywhere else, but if you can watch it, 100% watch it. It was crazy good. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it is insanely good. And at the end, I was left with so many questions that I'm still thinking about today.
You told me. What's it called?
Childhood's End. It's Arthur C. Clarke is the one who wrote the books 2001 and Space Odyssey. It's some deep stuff. This is a very well written book. This isn't some crap that's coming out of Marvel Studios or bloody Disney. This is some serious R.R. Martin kind of, Tolkien kind of level of stuff. We're talking like real, like, deep stuff, and it's so insanely good. At the end, as I said, for me, I'm just constantly thinking, but there was so many questions unanswered, and maybe in the book it's actually better than the TV show. Maybe they cut some things on the TV show, but usually they are. I have so much questions at the end of that bloody thing, but it was awesome. But the other thing is, was oh my god, there was another movie that there was another movie I want to recommend for you guys. Never mind, it's gone. My brain is mush. It's late at night. But yeah, go on, Jen.
I'll check it on the list. I just finished Yellowstone, and now I'm watching the prequel 1883.
I haven't seen Yellowstone yet.
It's pretty good, man. I thought I was kind of like, boring, but it's pretty gangster.
I got to say, so I was chilling with this chick on the weekends, right? And she was watching one. She was like, she found the show to watch. And she was already watching it, and it was. I gotta say, it's interesting. I ain't gonna say what it's about, and but end of the day, I actually recommend it, because it was actually interesting. And you know what? If you're a straight guy, you gotta watch it with a girl. Otherwise, it's very suspect.
What's it called?
So I think it's called The Travelers. I think
it's a TV show.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
I've actually heard of this.
It's only one series, but I've never seen something like that. I'm just saying it's different. Do you know what I mean? And I was like,
I've seen this recently. I saw it. I think it's just
with a woman. That's all I'm saying, Banksy.
Has it just recently come out then?
I don't know.
2024 TV series.
Yeah, I saw it recently with this
with the girl.
Yeah,
because I saw it. I didn't think anything about it. I thought I don't know what it is exactly, so I skipped because there's so much TV shows.
I'm just saying, if we're going on recommendations, I was like, okay, this is actually decent for what it is.
Because like the thing that I mentioned, Childhood's End, that was made in 2015. I'm going back in time and watching things that were made 10 years ago.
I never watched TV. I'm just currently unable to work, so I've been out for a week. So this is like the most TV I've watched in the last decade, literally.
Because it's about American politics, right? And I think you would really like that show. I think you're very open-minded generally, and it's about discrimination to an extent, right? Where you got racial discrimination and other forms of discrimination, and talking about the politics in the 60s, I reckon, around that era and onwards. So I thought it was really well made, the show. So I thought, okay, decent watch.
Check it out.
Interesting. Yeah, but as I said, this Childhood's End, it's only 3 episodes anyway, but they are long. They're like 1 hour and 20 minutes per episode. Wow. So they are like movie size episodes, but there's only 3 of them. So you just boom, boom, boom. You don't have to spend a year following, and it's not like they're going to make another season 2 or anything like that. So it's just like you watch it, it ends, and it ends. There is no more. There are no prequels. There are no sequels. This thing is
I know. It's like I just got done watching the John Wick movies, like all 4 of them, and then they slap you in the head with this Continental.
Bro,
that was dope, though. It was dope.
The last one was a bit mad, though. I mean, for fuck's sake, it was like Matrix, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting a bit excessive. You see,
I was like, have you never heard of a head?
Is dope.
Just aim high. You're gonna get something out of his skull,
yes, it's about the hotel.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
the hotel, the Continental.
Where all the assassins essentially go.
Yes, if you like the John Wick movies, watch that shit. Is
honestly the most surprising one for me. It's that not even surprising, but it was brilliant. Like the Ring of Power, whatever series that came out.
The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
Brilliant.
You liked it.
I was hooked on that, bro. I can't wait till the next series comes out.
Damn. I guess there you go. It's different.
Honestly,
there's that other one too with the witches. That's good. I'm waiting for that next one to come out too. It was a book series. It was called it is like an old book series.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it the one that oh my God, is it about 3 sisters?
Nah, it's like, man, I hate when my brain just melts and I can't.
Because there was a TV show about witches, 3 sisters called Charmed. It was called Charmed. That one.
No. This was like an old book series. It was kind of like, shit, man. They were like sorcerers and it was on.
Are you talking about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? I'm joking.
Nah.
This is a TV show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look it up real quick.
What was the other one that I was gonna recommend to you? Like, fuck me, has it slipped my mind already? I've got such a shit memory. Dementia, man.
Well,
definitely gonna get it.
What I was gonna while you're thinking, the film that I was gonna recommend. Well, it's not really a film I want to recommend because it's a crappy film. But the thought process behind it, it was made by the same guys who made The Matrix, Wachowskis, and it's called Jupiter Ascends.
The movie?
Yeah. It's a crap movie. I'm not going to deny that. But there was a moment in that movie which was fantastic, which was when that one of the there was 2 brothers and a sister who run this corporation where they are constantly getting themselves younger. Well, the thing was, that was the line in that movie. It says the only thing in the universe that matters is time, and everybody wants more of it because they could produce this liquid by killing like 100 people and liquefying them, and they make this liquid which makes you younger. So every time you reach like 70, 18 years old, 50, 60 years old, they go back to being like 20 years old again, and they can live for thousands of years because of that. And that's where I got this sort of that's where that line stuck with me, even though the rest of the movie
Wheel
was
of
shit.
Time. Wheel of Time.
I saw that.
Yes, that one.
It wasn't as good as Ring of Power, but it was actually decent. I liked it. I actually liked it. It was like a bit on a budget. You could tell they got all new actors and everything for it, so hence the budget.
But the
it worked.
But the Wheel of Time, is that an offshoot of The Witcher?
It literally it's literally
no. It's a book series. It was a book series.
It's a complete rip-off of Lord of the Rings. I swear to God.
Is it?
Yeah, when I watched it, because I watched the whole series, right? And it was
I did too.
Complete rip-off, but it was still decent because
I mean, it's high fantasy, so I mean, I guess
it weren't bad.
But there was a different kind of plot though with the sisterhood and whatnot. Like it was kind of dope.
So many references to Lord of the Rings. It was unbelievable. Like me and my ex were watching it.
I would imagine because Lord of the Rings is one of the most epic. Fantasy
classic,
books. There would be a whole host of other people who would have got inspired by it.
But bro, literally they could have done something a little better, but it felt a little bit lazy.
People get inspired and they just sort of write something and they think that they're coming up with something original, but they don't realize
dude, you had a Sauron, you had the fucking Uruk-hai, you had everything from Lord of the Rings. Like, oh my god!
Yeah,
it was a complete rip-off.
The other thing is, this is the problem with modern day sort of stuff, is that on one half, it could be that people are writing stuff, even though they think it's new, they've been inspired by Lord of the Rings, so they're actually, in their brain, they're rehashing Lord of the Rings, but they think they're writing something new. The other thing is that these studios are money-grubbing bastards, and they just want to make cash.
100%. Look, at the end of the day, firstly, two things for you, Banksy. I hope you've seen Cobra Kai. Have you watched it?
I've seen it up to season 4. I haven't seen season 5 yet.
All I'm saying is, though, I love it. You get me right? I can watch that again. It's like Breaking Bad. I could just keep fucking watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Have they finished with Cobra Kai, though? Is that still coming out with the next season?
Well, they actually, they might, because again, same thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it, innit? Like, just carry on. So I feel like they will bring another one out.
Yeah, but they always end up spoiling. This is the thing with these TV shows. They start off brilliant. First season, amazing. Second season, pretty good. Second season, still pretty good. Then they start to sort of, because they run out of things to do.
Not really. No, see, Breaking Bad wasn't like that. Breaking Bad got better and better. And actually, Cobra Kai gets better and better every season. So,
but the thing is, Breaking Bad ended after 5 seasons, so they knew they're running this to a conclusion, and so they're going to end it. 5 seasons, boom, it's done. A great ending, and all that. But like, take Walking Dead. Now, I followed Walking Dead for 9 years or 9 years. I think I'm on like end of season 10 now, and I haven't started season 11. But it's like I devoted 10 years or 8 years of watching this crap, and the ending is not very. I mean, from what I've heard, I haven't actually seen it, but I've heard it's not that great. And they are they went off to like do offshoots of it now. You know, they've got Fear the Walking Dead and a whole bunch of other crap because it's a money making.
That's how we feel about Game of Thrones, man. Yes. I've read all the books. Freaking, we still don't have the last book.
I know.
The author's doing everything except for writing the last freaking book.
He's going to die. He's going to die before he finishes
millions of dollars, and it's like, you have fans who have been loyal to you for 20 years.
Yeah.
Dance with Dragons came out in 2011. And it's like, come on, you can't just wrap it up and give us Winds of Winter.
I know.
It's a thing of like, it's a mad thing. Like you got J.K. Rowling, right? She was broke, destitute. Her husband left her for a younger woman. She had a baby sitting in a coffee shop, right? Couldn't afford to buy a coffee. Literally just sitting there, just writing. Do you know what I mean? With a baby there. She had nothing.
No, but you gotta give her this. You got to give Rowling this much. When she became a multi-billionaire and the Harry Potter thing just poured money into her, she still carried on writing, and she had her if you like, what's it called? Her work ethic was still good. Yeah. She's still even writing now, and she wrote all those.
It wasn't as good as Harry Potter.
No. I mean, obviously, that's kind of like a. What's it called? A lightning in a bottle. You get that once. You're not going to constantly repeat that.
It came through that inspiration. Okay, she's got a degree, she could write and everything else, right? But you know what I mean? Like that had a massive part to play. Like me, I don't have that degree or anything else. I feel like if I did, I would have wrote my books by now, right?
A lot of people can write books, so nowadays you can be an author in like 10 minutes.
I would actually love to I would give my idea, right? I got 2 great genius ideas that I know will be blockbusters. I know.
Yeah, but
right?
dude, write them down.
But see, I'm just got this thing where I'm a bit of a perfectionist. You get me? I just, I'd rather just give my ideas and let other people write it down and make it.
Think of it this way.
You need to just write a screenplay, make an outline and let them do the details and all the other shit and sell that.
That's what happens.
Your name will still be on it. Screenplay by or whatever.
I went to India for a month.
No, but you got to realize, Sylvester Stallone, like he wrote Saturday Night Fever and Staying Alive. It was one of those. And he wrote Rocky, obviously. But he's dyslexic. You know that those first drafts were probably shit, but he had the framework for it and he had the idea for it, and then other people finished it off.
I feel like I'm dyslexic, right? But at the same time, it's one of those things, like I'm not diagnosed or anything like that. I just know in it,
No, but what I'm saying, Triller, it doesn't matter whether you are or you're not. First of all, nowadays you can literally, you have text, voice to text. You can say your books. You can just say your books, and the bloody AI will write it for you. So you don't even have to write, like get in front of a keyboard and start writing. You can dictate it. But the other thing is, if you want to, I think personally, and this is something I would do, but I'll be honest, I'm lazy. I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm a lazy ass, and I should be, writing little short stories, and I have a bunch of ideas. I'm just lazy. But the fact is, if you really want to, write small, let's say 10-page books. Not even 10, 5 pages. 5 to 10 pages, and publish them on Amazon as short stories. Write short stories. Those are the best way to get into writing. You write a small story. You don't have to think about some epic, godforsaken, like Lord of the Rings thing. You just write it and you publish it. And if it catches fire, then you can move to bigger things.
You know what? That might not be a bad idea. Like literally, if I make it into like a kiddie book, like, because again, I think my stories generally could be very PG. Do you know what I mean? Right? And that's it. Like literally. Just do that.
The problem is most people think of projects like this as if they're standing on the ground and they're looking at top of Mount Everest and they're thinking, how do I jump from the ground over onto Mount Everest? No, you're not going to be able to jump that. That's impossible. What you do is you go around the back of Mount Everest and there's a set of steps. And you take a step at a time. You're not worried about getting to the top of Mount Everest. You're worried about getting onto the top of the next step.
That's the problem with me, mate. I'm thinking right at the top.
That's what I mean. No, that is how to do nothing. Yeah, that is the way to do nothing. Because the minute you start to think of something as this massive epic empire or massive epic sort of ensemble, then you do nothing, because you essentially talk yourself out of it. You're like, oh fucking hell, man, where do I even begin to tackle this?
Where do I start? Yeah.
No, you don't do that. You think about the next step.
I've got the plot though. Put it that way. I've memorized the plot.
That's it. Your first task. Don't worry about anything. Write 1 page of that plot, like how it's going to start, because every movie, everything to do with cinema is in 3 stages: the opening act, the middle, and the end. That's it. That's all you want is what am I going to open with? What's the middle? What's the end? Start with that. And even you can take, you know Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung. I was listening to the documentaries about their fight scenes. That's the method they use for their fight scenes. Their fight scenes are always shot in 3 acts: Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Act 1 is the initial inception of the fight. Act 2 is when the hero is in trouble and the villain is getting one over him and is kicking his ass. And Act 3 is when the hero turns it around and gets and wins the fight and gets over one over the villain. Every fight, you watch every Jackie Chan fight, every Sammo Hung fight from the Hong Kong days, it's exactly in that format. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Every one of them.
I hear. You know what? No, I'll get to it. Like, I'm working on it. Like, I just need a couple little pieces of my puzzle in my life just in place, and then I feel like I'll fill in the rest myself. So, yeah.
Well,
you know, so,
that's. I mean, I say just take a small step.
It's just a motivation, dude. Like once
I
know,
I know laziness is a massive thing. Procrastination.
Yeah. No, but it's the thing that what the weekend, yeah. So Saturday, I'm looking to go somewhere uninvited and see if I can, make some magic happen. I feel like if I could have that on a regular basis, yeah, on a weekend, I'll be happy, they'll be happy, and the universe will just make everything else. Did
you guys actually, Jen, as well? I don't know. How was? Did you guys do anything for Valentine's Day? Was there anything special for you guys?
No, I just wished a few girls happy Valentine's. That's all I did. Gave them an e-card. You know what I mean? On WhatsApp.
Yeah, I think I debated some Muslims on Clubhouse for like a couple hours in the morning.
Well, I got pissed on Bellies, and I fucking had to go at all of the fucking.
Yeah, then I listened to Trilla, and you know what, Trilla? Man, you pissed me off, man. Because if you were sober, you would have freaking had that shit in the bag, man. Because you were making good points, but you did hold it down, though. But that shit that they're on, man, the sun people, sand people, it's so fucking racist.
100%.
It's literally the most racist shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hopefully Banksy jumps on.
Yeah, I know. I heard. The thing was, what was I doing? I did something else because I was in the middle of something. No, that's
probably pimping right now.
No. What it is I'm producing videos for some other channels and some TikTok stuff. And when I'm running the video editing software and Photoshop and all these other things that I need, I can't use panel. I can't jump on StreamYard. StreamYard sucks the juice out of my machine badly. So I had to make a decision, either jump on this panel or finish making my videos. I'm like, screw this panel. I'm not making any money. This panel isn't doing anything for me. I might as well finish the videos. And
conversation is not going away.
Yeah, but what I mean is, these sometimes these debates, they suck.
It's not worth your time.
Yeah, your time from other things that are actually important in life, or actually like Saturday. Like, for example, last Friday, I was supposed to debate James Jones. We were supposed to. He said to me, well, I mean, he made it kind of a wishy-washy thing. He's like, oh, start your stream and then I'll jump on when you're on, aren't you? And I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it, and I'll have this debate and I'll have it out with him, and then that's it. I won't ever talk to him again. But then what happened was other people from much bigger streams invited me on their platform. And I'm like, if I go on this guy like Simon Sideways, he has like 60, 70, I think, no, he's coming up to 100,000 subscribers. So it's far better for me to be there for my profile than it is on my own show or debating fucking James Jones that no one gives a shit about. No one knows who the fuck James is.
No, 100%, dude. You got to do what's right for you. Like, when it comes to Jen, like your thing there, literally, you gotta appreciate that I noticed a lot of people trying to distract me in it, like from making my points, to get me. So it was very difficult, you get me? Like, I had a lot of people trying to interrupt and just basically make me forget about my point or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
well, that's the tactic. It's the ways to shut down the conversation, right? Like saying, oh, why are you bothering with this guy? This guy ain't nothing, this and that. Like, it's just, you want to shut down the opposition. You want to shut down the, any kind of rebuttal that you're getting. But yeah, man, it's just
stupid. This is the thing. I know that because I'm part of the audience as well, right? Like, literally, audience aren't dumb. They can see who the fuck what's happening. You know what I mean? So they know.
But if you guys rewind the stream that I did earlier on tonight, you'll see all the fallacies that they use, and you can use them against them. Or call them out on the bullshit.
That's the thing. Like, it's so hard to remember all of them at the same time. Like, while you're in the debate, and especially if it's heated, like, and you're pissed and emotional, or once you're not going to sit there and try to apply, like, oh, that's against the law of excluded middle. Well, what the fuck does that mean in that moment, right? Like, it doesn't mean shit in that moment, right?
It's the law of excluded middle. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. Like, it's just so some things, like, I definitely get it. And if you're having a civil, formal debate with a moderator, then yes, that's definitely the more like
better way
I
to
guess
go about it.
Yes, you'll get more progress by using those, but you can't use them with people who have no idea what they are and who are claiming that certain people are better than other people because of phenotype, right?
Yeah.
So it's like once that's your basis, then you have to kind of judge your opponent or whatever and figure like, okay, I'm probably not dealing with the sharpest knife in the drawer, so you have to dull yourself down to kind of match that energy, right?
Jen,
And that's
the tactics are so low where they're literally like lying and fucking denying shit that they've fucking said and done and believe in. I'm like, yo, like literally, you know what I mean? You're lying to my face and you're asking me to provide evidence for it. Fuck off.
Well,
like,
this is why, you know, how many weeks ago did I say Jordan M isn't stupid, he's a liar. He's an out and out liar, and people will poo-poo. Oh no, not Jordan. He's not a liar. He's a Muslim. Like, no,
he's
this
a
man,
Dalgandist.
exactly.
And they're all liars. They'll lie to themselves to the gates of Jahannam because it's sanctioned. It's sanctioned by Hiyal, and what's the other one? The other sanctioned lying.
Takia. No?
Yeah, Takia and Hiyal. Yeah. You know, so they're sanctioned, so they're allowed to lie.
And it's not just out and out open lying, but it's also lying by omission. People don't seem to note this. If a person withholds a certain information from you in order to win a debate or in order to give themselves a better life, that is lying because they know better, but they will not tell you that.
Right. So that's why, again, it's like you have to kind of assess your opponent. Is this even worth it? Yeah. Because they're dishonest to begin with.
Exactly.
You know, like they have an agenda, they have a goal. Their goal is to convert you. Once they can't do that, they're going to flip the chess table over and run away like, oh, I whooped their ass. I freaking killed them. I smashed them. You know, like, fastest growing religion, you know, like it's cookie cutter arguments.
You know, like Muslims that jump on, right, that are very sincere, right, and honest and educated, right? They literally speak their truth, right? And if it sounds too extreme, yeah, that show's going on private. 100%.
Exactly. How many times I've seen, you know, Jordan M, when he started talking about how he got punched in the face by a jinn. It wasn't even me. I saw that live, and then I scrambled to try and capture it, and he'd already removed it. It was just by some miracle. Someone else found it and put it on their side, and I found
Cognitive is great for that shit. Just like when Hamza dismissed that white girl from America, Millihan, right?
Yes.
He knew he fucked up.
Yes.
He deleted that shit the second he ended the stream. Yep. And then he tried to get her to delete it as well. But luckily, our boy Cognitive Dissonance, he catches them shits.
Yes,
he's got some good moments on it. Like, big up to him.
Yeah.
But it's disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
Isn't that Daniel Hakikuchi's wife you're talking about?
No.
This is like a New York girl. I think she's from New York, right? I think so. I think
she's from somewhere. I think she's from somewhere down south.
Oh, but she has this particular accent. Like, to me, sounded like an. I don't know. Maybe I mistakenly thought it was New York, but she has this very distinct accent, and she's Hispanic as well, isn't she? Is she Hispanic as well?
Yeah. She's part Hispanic. No, I believe she's from the Southwest, like Cali, maybe somewhere Nevada, something like that.
What happened in that? Like, what happened?
Well,
so basically, she quoted, was it Thomas Aquinas?
Yes, it was Aquinas, and she basically mentioned a lot of Christian philosophers, and Thomas Aquinas was one of the ones that she got really mad because Hamza just basically tried to totally dismiss Aquinas out and out as just like an idiot or something, and she became furious because regardless of whether Thomas Aquinas didn't accept Islam or not, his work, even amongst atheists, they still
this is the woman that had a full face. Yeah, she had a full face covered, didn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
but her
She's wearing a blue niqab.
Right, yeah.
Niqab, yeah.
I thought that was Thingy's wife, isn't it? Daniel Kikishi's wife, because she sounded very like, and that's what I thought. But that's
it's hard to tell them apart, obviously, because you can't see their face. But no, this girl is
she's a Harvard-educated person, wasn't she? Or weren't she?
I don't know about Harvard, but she did study philosophy formally.
Yeah, she studied
and I mean
Islam for many years before she converted as well. So
she knew her stuff. She knew her stuff, and she was very. Dude, I watched that debate, and I was like, "Oh my days!" Like literally, he fucked up. He sounded like such an arrogant prick as usual.
Yes,
yes, yes.
It's just like, oh, I don't have to read him. I don't have to touch that book because he was a Christian.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, so what does that have to do with, the price of tea in China? It doesn't matter, right?
Well, his argument was that Aquinas ultimately didn't come to the right conclusion because he didn't become a Muslim. So he would be wrong by default because he didn't become a Muslim, because Islam is the truth.
But going with his what you call it, rhetoric, literally, why should anybody give a shit about his beliefs or and so on? Do you know what I mean? Like with everybody else around the world, if we're going according to that kind of way of thought, we're not going to get anywhere. Literally, everybody's just dismiss everyone.
Yeah. But that's what he does.
No, you just
he dismisses
non-Muslims.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that's what they do.
There's a clear line in the sand. Muslims are here, you are there, and that's it. Will.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
They're the House of Islam and the House of War.
Yeah. What is it?
Darul Islam.
I learned that recently from listening to you and Khan talking about all that.
Yeah, but because that is the fundamentals. I mean, they've got this other expression, al-wara, al-bara, something like that. Which is what love what Allah loves and hate what Allah hates.
Yeah,
and Allah hates non-believers.
See, like I basically look at maybe Sikhi as an example of that, like as in like I compare it, right? And I would be like, okay, well, what do the Sikhs have in sort of similar regard? They got like your Nahang Singhs, right? That are, for example, allowed to eat meat, and you got others saying you should be more compassionate. You know what I mean? Like if you're not a warrior thing, but and so on and so forth, right? Where the Nahang Singhs, the warrior class, are allowed to get away with. They have different set of rules to an extent, but this is it. Like I question it. I'll be like, look, every Sikh is different. There is no one Sikh that is the same as another. Like every human being is different. So let's just go by that. We're only trying to do what's right. You know what I mean? But we're all in essence freaking gonna do things different from one another, regardless if you believe in the same thing and try and practice the same thing. It makes sense?
Totally. I just wanna say this to all the Muslims in the world, especially those who obviously hate me.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
Sorry, I found some of these stuff.
My God. So the Allah Bara thing came up when I was debating this guy yesterday morning, right? And he said something about, oh, well, you mushrikeen, like you guys follow the devil, right? And I said, well, if there's a devil that tells me to hate people and a devil that tells me to love people, I'm going to follow the devil that tells me to love people. Like what kind of this is, you have to, like, I was trying to point out, like, you have to program yourself to believe it's okay to harm people, right? Especially children. So yes, the whole child marriage thing came up. That was the basis of the whole kind. Our favorite subject. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, and he said outright, yes, he would marry a 9-year-old. He has no problem with it. he also said he would jihad himself for the cause of Palestine, which was pretty interesting. And I'm like, I never think to record this shit. Like, I wish I just don't think like that, right? And I'm like, wow, the sound bites I could have got from this guy was like insane. But and it's like, you really have to program your mind against human nature to think that this is okay. Because if any of us were standing on the roof of a building and somebody was going to throw a 9-year-old off the roof of that building, we would all try to stop it. We would all know this is wrong, and we would all try to stop it, right? And it's like, for you to think that it's a good thing and that's fine is just against I was using the argument of fitra. It's against our fitra. You want to say we have fitra, our innate sense of right and wrong, and our innate sense of goodness, right? Well, this is against it.
I heard that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize, but unfortunately the hour is upon us. I have to get some sleep. Otherwise, I'm going to be screwed for work. So yeah, thanks guys for coming. I'm gonna actually just before you guys leave, I just want you to give you some of the little things that I've been doing on this StreamYard for future debates, and if anyone is
horse shit.
The wage gap is simply the average earnings of men and women working full-time. It does not count for different job positions, hours worked, or different jobs. It has nothing to do with the same job. It has nothing to do with discrimination.
That's for the feminists. I'm lining them up.
It just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Fuck. Oh my.
If you ever get Jordan M or Hamza on your panel,
Fucking liar.
if you ever end up in a long debate and someone just rattles on some bullshit.
Mr. Madison, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
That is one big pile of shit.
Been left in ruins.
Good God! I've been saying it. I've been saying it for 10 damn years. Ain't I been saying it, Miguel? Huh? I've been saying it.
Everybody knows you never go full retard. You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Hold on, one more.
Be a moron. Yeah, to be moronical.
Exactly, to be a moron.
An imbecile.
Yeah.
Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
This comes with the free version of StreamYard?
Yeah, I can add these. I mean, these are obviously my own clips. I just can add them.
Yeah,
nice.
I can
the Jurassic Park was my favorite one. That was
Of course, if someone just goes on and on,
you need to shut the fuck.
See, that one is a little. I've seen that one before, but like I said, the Jurassic Park one, brilliant. I ain't seen it ever before. So,
you haven't seen that? That is literally in the Jurassic Park movie.
No, I've seen it in the movie. Joker. I've not seen other people clip it.
Yeah. And this one's from. That's from a movie called Deuce Bigelow.
Gigolo.
Yes, male gigolo. Yeah.
Hey,
that shit was funny.
That woman who had a fucking cock on her nose. That was insane. Like,
No, it's the one. It's the big fat one who has a chicken leg in her breast.
Oh God! That one. She's like, "Hi, how are you?"
Yes, it's the best. Yeah, no, that movie's got so many clips. I could clip that movie all night. There's just so many bits of that movie that are good.
Yeah, it was classic.
I actually have to get it because there's a couple of clips that I want to get for Triller, especially for you, Triller. But when I get it and clip it, then you'll see it. Otherwise, it'll be, if I tell you, it'll be out of context. It won't be funny, but it'll be funny. Trust me.
Oh shit.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being so wonderful and coming on. Have a wonderful night, and I will catch you guys on the next one.
All right, peace.
Peace out, everyone. I'm out. All right, boys and girls, this is our show for the night. Oh, for show. Yeah, we're done. We're out of here. We are yesterday's whatever. I can't think of anything funny to say anymore. My brain is literally shutting down. I'm not joking. I haven't slept since 6 in the morning. It was 7:30, 6-ish. It was 6:30, I think. I got up and I only slept 3-4 hours before that. It's killing me. I need sleep. I do so much rather talk to her than Hamza. Yes, I know, Izzy. I agree. Thank you, everyone on the panel. Mr. Francis, Mrs. or Miss. Oh my God, I can't think. I can't. Jen Wallace. Thank you, Jen. A big up Triller. And everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up and commenting. Oh my God, there's so many of you guys. It's going to take me forever. But you know who you are. I love you. I adore you. Old school. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Big up Curbs. Big up Sergeant Slaughter. and all the WWE guys. Yep. Of course, thank you, Francis, again. I can see him in the chat. And everyone else, guys. You know who you are. You know I love you. Thanks for coming. I'm going to try and do something in the streets. Be back on the. She belongs to the streets. I got to get that clip actually. I'm going to get out into the streets of London. Hopefully this weekend. Do some recordings, protests, whatever the hell's going on. I'll be honest, I have no idea what's happening in London. So we'll get out there. That will be on Hafez Reflex. Go to Hafez Reflex, like and subscribe. Don't forget to punch that like button on your way out on this one. And I will catch you on the next show. Hopefully before this year is ended. I will do another one. I did 2 this in 1 week. So that's got to buy me some credit for a while. I don't know. I don't know how it all works. Does it work like that? I don't think it works like that. Okay, I'm going to play something mellow because I came in with a fairly strong intro. But I don't really want to keep playing those big sort of intros. So let's see if we can play something a little more chilled on our outro. Have see odd, so many things. A nice ambient music. Ambient. Let's go for ambient. Okay, I'm just picking something randomly. I have no idea what it is, but it's mellow. Peace out, guys. Love you all. Catch you on the next one.